What a narcissist hopes when you go no contact stoic mindset. Have you ever wondered what goes through the mind of a narcissist when you finally decide to cut off contact and disappear from their life? Do they feel betrayed? Do they regret their actions? Or do they only grow more determined to regain control over you? In this video, we'll dive deep into the hidden hopes and manipulative calculations of a narcissist when you choose to take back your power and break free from their toxic influence. Prepare yourself. What you're about to learn may change the way you see relationships forever. When you break the cycle and remove yourself from their world, the narcissist is convinced that you'll come back. They trust in your emotional attachment, your desire for closure, and your fear of being alone. They think they've got you all figured out, that you can't live without them. This is why they often go silent, holding back, waiting for you to crumble and return to them. But if you stand your ground and continue moving forward, the real battle begins. Welcome to Stoic in Your Life, where we explore how Stoic principles help you navigate the darkest of relationships with clarity and strength. Number 1. Narcissist's initial reaction. When you go no contact with a narcissist, their initial reaction is often disbelief and confusion. Narcissists thrive on control, constructing their sense of power and superiority through manipulation and domination. Your decision to cut ties disrupts this illusion, leaving them reeling. They believe, perhaps arrogantly, that you, like everyone else, are too weak to stay away. They bank on emotions like guilt, loneliness, or the craving for closure to pull you back into their orbit. For a narcissist, these emotions aren't human vulnerabilities. They're tools to exploit. They are confident that sooner or later, you'll second-guess your decision, feel regret, and come crawling back, reinforcing their warped belief that they are indispensable. In their calculated game of manipulation, silence is a weapon. By ignoring you or staying silent after the split, the narcissist is testing your resolve. This tactic serves to maintain the illusion that they hold the upper hand. They want you to stew in your thoughts, questioning your choice, wondering why they haven't reacted. This creates a psychological tug-of-war where you may feel tempted to reach out for answers they deliberately withhold to keep you emotionally tethered. They frame this silence as proof of their superiority, believing it will compel you to seek validation or reassurance from them, thus restoring their control over the situation. To the narcissist, your departure is not a final act, but a temporary disruption. They watch and wait, often for months, believing you'll break the silence first. This slow-motion game of chess allows them to feel powerful without lifting a finger. For instance, they might monitor your social media, or rely on mutual acquaintances to gauge your emotional state, all while maintaining an outward facade of indifference. If you do reach out, it confirms their narrative. You need them more than they need you. They savor this moment, feeding their ego and reinforcing their belief that they are the center of your world, even in absence. But when their patience wears thin, or their ego feels bruised, they may break their silence, though not to reconcile. Their messages or calls are carefully designed to make you doubt yourself. Look what you're missing, they subtly suggest, positioning themselves as unaffected by your absence. Yet beneath this act lies their true motive: to regain control. To them, it's never about losing you as a person. It's about losing their grip on the narrative, their dominance over your emotions. They will twist the story, gaslighting you into believing you've made a mistake, hoping you'll reopen the door they never wanted closed. A modern example illustrates how these dynamics play out. Consider a woman, Anna, who ends a relationship with her narcissistic partner, Jake. Jake initially seems unaffected, ignoring Anna entirely after their breakup, but Anna notices subtleties, vague social media posts, mutual friends dropping hints about how well Jake is doing. Months later, Jake sends a cryptic message, something like, "I hope you're okay. I've been thinking about you." It seems innocent, even caring, but Anna recognizes it as a hook designed to pull her back. By staying no contact and resisting the urge to engage, Anna protects her peace and denies Jake the control he craves. What can you learn from this? First, understand that a narcissist's power lies in your emotional response. By choosing no contact, you take away their ability to manipulate and control. Second, remind yourself that their silence is not indifference but a calculated move to bait you. When you recognize the game, you no longer feel compelled to play. Draw strength from Stoic secrets. Focus on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and responses. Ask yourself, am I seeking closure, or am I allowing myself to be drawn back into chaos? True freedom comes when you reclaim your power by letting go of their influence. Embracing a Stoic mindset means prioritizing your inner peace over external validation. Narcissists hope your resolve will waver, but by staying grounded and focused on what truly matters, you deny them the victory they seek. How will you choose to protect your serenity and maintain your autonomy in the face of their manipulative tactics? Have you explored the insights shared on Stoic in your life? If you're already following the channel, comment below. I've been checking out the content on this channel. If you're new to the channel, let us know by commenting, I just joined and will be checking in regularly. Together, let's explore how Stoicism can empower us to overcome life's challenges, especially when faced with manipulative dynamics, like the ones we've discussed today. Number 2, strategies to regain control. Narcissists are expert manipulators, and one of their most effective methods to regain control after a breakup is seduction. This tactic involves returning to your life with a carefully crafted facade of transformation. They present themselves as the ideal partner you've always wanted, or a seemingly improved version of who they once were. At the core of this strategy is love bombing, where they shower you with affection, extravagant compliments, and heartfelt promises of change. This can include grand gestures, lavish gifts, or emotional declarations designed to rekindle the hope of a better relationship. However, beneath this display of transformation lies a calculated intent, not to foster genuine growth, but to manipulate your emotions and regain their dominance. They aim to convince you that happiness can only exist in their presence, exploiting your emotional vulnerabilities and rewriting the narrative of the past. But as psychology and experience show, such promises of change are rarely authentic. Narcissists typically lack the self-awareness and accountability needed for real transformation. Once they regain control, the familiar toxic patterns resurface. Love bombing gives way to devaluation, and the cycle of manipulation begins anew. This often leaves you feeling emotionally drained, more disillusioned than before, as the illusion of reconciliation collapses. The seduction strategy is powerful because it preys on universal human emotions: the longing for connection, the hope for change, and the desire for closure. Narcissists excel at exploiting these feelings, using nostalgia and idealization to obscure the truth. But as Epictetus wisely observed, circumstances don't make the man, they only reveal him to himself. Recognizing this manipulation for what it is allows you to step back and view the situation with clarity. Are their actions genuinely indicative of change, or simply another calculated attempt to regain control? Modern Stoicism offers valuable tools to navigate this manipulation. By focusing on what lies within your control, your thoughts, choices, and perceptions, you can reclaim your power. Narcissists thrive on controlling your emotional responses, but when you anchor yourself in rationality and self-awareness, their influence weakens. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Embracing this wisdom helps you resist their seduction and regain your inner peace. To effectively counter these tactics, it's essential to cultivate emotional independence and resilience. Reflecting on the true nature of the relationship and its impact on your well-being is crucial. Practices like journaling, seeking support from trusted friends or therapists, and establishing firm boundaries help reinforce your resolve. Recognize that the person they pretend to be during these moments of seduction is not their authentic self. By refusing to engage with their manipulative behavior, you can break free from their hold and regain control over your life. This process isn't easy, as the allure of their promises can be deeply tempting, particularly when they speak to your desire for connection and healing. Yet, as Seneca reminds us, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. Rejecting their overtures is not a loss. It's a step toward authentic growth and healthier relationships. It takes courage to prioritize your well-being over the illusion of reconciliation, but doing so creates the space necessary for true peace and happiness. Modern Stoicism serves as a beacon of guidance, encouraging virtues like wisdom, courage, and discipline in the face of such challenges. By focusing on what you can control and resisting the narcissist's manipulations, you deny them the leverage they seek. This choice is not just an act of self-defense. It's a commitment to building a life rooted in authenticity, resilience, and inner peace. Through clarity, self-awareness, and rationality, you strengthen your emotional independence and pave the way for a future free from manipulation and toxic control. The closure trap is one of the most deceptive tactics narcissists employ when confronted with no contact. Under the pretense of seeking reconciliation, they strategically position themselves as the injured party asking for closure. They may request a conversation to clear the air or address unresolved issues, creating the illusion of mutual understanding and peace. However, their true intention isn't resolution. It's regaining control by reopening the emotional wounds you've worked hard to heal and pulling you back into the toxic dynamic you escaped. Narcissists are skilled manipulators who use ambiguity to twist the narrative in their favor. During these so-called closure talks, they often absolve themselves of blame while subtly placing responsibility on you, leaving you questioning your decisions. This destabilization is deliberate, designed to feed their need for control by undermining your confidence and judgment. They prey on your natural desire for resolution, turning your empathy into a tool for manipulation. Recognizing this pattern is essential, and here, Stoic philosophy offers clarity and strength. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. By understanding that their version of closure is manipulation disguised as reconciliation, you can safeguard your peace and autonomy. Engaging in such conversations often entangles you in their narrative, minimizing their role in the harm caused while amplifying your perceived faults. Their words can make you question your experiences or even feel complicit in their behavior. This is where the teachings of modern Stoicism become invaluable. Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can control, our responses and actions, rather than external circumstances. Epictetus wisely stated, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." By refusing to engage, you preserve your emotional detachment and reclaim your power, shielding yourself from their manipulative tactics. The Stoic principle of apatheia, freedom from emotional disturbance, reminds us to prioritize what truly matters: our virtue, growth, and peace. A narcissist's attempt at closure is a distraction, serving their needs at the expense of your emotional health. True closure doesn't come from external validation but from within, through acceptance, reflection, and the decision to move forward with wisdom and strength. As Seneca wrote, "He who is brave is free." Setting boundaries and refusing to engage isn't just self-preservation, it's an act of courage that ultimately sets you free. In today's world, the yearning for closure is often amplified by societal pressures that romanticize reconciliation and making peace. Narcissists exploit this cultural emphasis, weaponizing your compassion and need for resolution against you. They know this vulnerability well, but Stoicism provides a counterbalance. Epictetus reminds us, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." By setting firm boundaries and rejecting manipulative conversations, you protect your peace and define your path forward. Denying the narcissist the satisfaction of reeling you back into their control. Instead of engaging in their traps, channel your energy into self-reflection, healing, and emotional growth. Modern Stoicism teaches us that freedom comes from not needing validation from those who seek to harm us. By refusing to engage, you assert your independence and reclaim your peace. Let your silence serve as your statement, a powerful declaration that your well-being matters more than their manipulative games. This choice embodies the essence of Stoic wisdom, focusing on what you can control and releasing what you cannot. The path of Stoicism doesn't mean rejecting emotion, it means mastering it. It's about cultivating inner strength and peace amidst the chaos. True closure isn't granted by others, it's a state of mind you create through self-awareness and resilience. When you embrace this mindset, you liberate yourself from the distractions and emotional games of the narcissist. Their tactics, no matter how calculated, cannot overpower your commitment to your own growth and happiness. Each time you choose not to engage, you choose freedom. By embodying Stoic principles, you rise above manipulation, reclaim your peace, and move toward a life of clarity, courage, and true fulfillment. After a breakup, narcissists often turn to social media to project an illusion of a perfect life, filled with glamorous photos of new partners, exotic vacations, and expensive purchases. However, beneath this carefully curated facade lies a deeper truth. It's not about genuine happiness, but a calculated attempt to manipulate. Narcissists thrive on validation and attention, using these staged displays to provoke feelings of regret, inadequacy, or jealousy in you. Their goal is to make you question your decision, wondering if you've lost something extraordinary. This psychological game positions them as enviable and triumphant, keeping their hold on your emotions alive even from a distance. Yet the reality behind these posts often tells a much different story. Beneath the surface, the narcissist struggles with the same insecurities and emotional emptiness that defined their behavior during your relationship. Their seemingly perfect new partner is often just another source of narcissistic supply, someone to provide temporary validation, not genuine connection. The flashy vacations and luxurious displays are distractions, masking their inability to address deeper emotional issues. This external bravado hides a persistent inner dissatisfaction. As Seneca wisely noted, "He who is brave is free," reminding us that true freedom and happiness come from mastering our inner world, not from outward appearances. Picture this common scenario. You've gone no contact and are focused on rebuilding your peace. One day you see a photo of your ex with their new partner smiling on a pristine beach with the caption, "Living my best life." For a moment, doubt creeps in. But ask yourself, what are they really showing you? Is it a life of substance, or is it simply a staged performance meant to provoke? These posts are not about their happiness, but about maintaining emotional control over you. Take Maya's story as an example. She broke free from her narcissistic ex, David, and blocked him on all platforms. Later, mutual friends mentioned his seemingly amazing new life. Initially, Maya felt a pang of curiosity and doubt, but as she focused on her growth, she saw the truth. David's need for validation hadn't changed. Months later, when he reached out under the guise of closure, Maya recognized it as another ploy for control. This realization became her turning point, teaching her that Stoic principles like detachment and resilience were her best tools for true freedom. When faced with someone flaunting their perfect life, ask yourself if it's meant to inspire or manipulate. Genuine happiness doesn't need an audience. It thrives in quiet, authentic moments of peace. Narcissists depend on your reactions to sustain their need for attention, but you can break the cycle. Modern Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control others' actions or opinions, only our responses. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By focusing on what you can control, you preserve your inner peace. Their theatrics are just that, a performance. Your growth isn't measured by comparing yourself to their highlight reel, but by building a life of authenticity and purpose. Ask yourself what truly matters to you. How can you channel your energy into healing and self-discovery? Letting go of the need to respond to their provocations creates space for a deeper sense of happiness, rooted in genuine self-love and inner strength. This journey isn't about proving anything to the narcissist. It's about reclaiming your agency and aligning your life with your values. Modern Stoicism reminds us that peace is not found in chasing illusions or reacting to others' manipulations, but in mastering ourselves. Recognize their social media displays as reflections of their insecurity, not of their success. By focusing on your own path, you transcend their games and build a life filled with resilience and authenticity. True fulfillment lies in your ability to create joy independently of others' performances, anchored in the quiet strength of self-assuredness. Narcissists are experts in emotional manipulation, and one of their most insidious strategies to regain control after a breakup is eliciting sympathy through others. They skillfully target mutual friends, family, and acquaintances, weaving false or exaggerated narratives to paint themselves as victims of your alleged cruelty or abandonment. These carefully constructed stories are designed to evoke sympathy, portraying the narcissist as heartbroken and emotionally devastated. By doing so, they manipulate those around you into believing their fabricated version of events, casting you as the villain and themselves as the aggrieved party. This tactic is particularly effective because it leverages guilt and pity to pressure you into reconsidering your decision to go no contact. In many cases, the narcissist enlists flying monkeys, people who, knowingly or unwittingly, become their allies. These individuals might contact you directly, urging you to reconcile or relay the narcissist's distorted perspective, thereby amplifying the emotional manipulation. The ultimate goal of these tactics is to destabilize your emotional resilience and weaken your resolve by isolating you from your support system. Narcissists know that a strong network of friends and family provides the emotional anchor you need to stay firm in your boundaries, so they aim to erode those connections. By engaging in smear campaigns and spreading misinformation, they create doubt in the minds of your friends and loved ones, attempting to fracture your relationships and leave you vulnerable. This campaign of distortion not only tarnishes your reputation, but also aims to make you question your own reality, which can be deeply damaging to your confidence and healing process. Understanding this manipulation is crucial to protecting yourself. As Epictetus wisely said, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. Narcissists thrive on your emotional reactions, and by maintaining composure and self-awareness, you deny them the power they seek. Modern Stoicism provides a profound framework to navigate such challenges, reminding us to focus on what is within our control, our thoughts, choices, and responses. By embracing this mindset, you empower yourself to remain unaffected by their schemes, preserving your emotional strength and clarity. Countering these manipulative tactics requires steadfast boundaries and a commitment to your mental health. Resist the temptation to justify yourself or defend your actions to others. Engaging in their narrative only fuels the narcissist's need for attention and validation. Instead, rely on the trust and understanding of those who truly know you. As Marcus Aurelius aptly noted, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This wisdom encourages you to rise above the narcissist's games by focusing on your growth, integrity, and peace. Healing from this experience involves prioritizing self-care and surrounding yourself with people who uplift and support you. Activities such as journaling, therapy, and mindfulness can help you process the situation and strengthen your emotional resilience. Recognize that the narcissist's power diminishes the moment you choose to disengage and focus on building a life rooted in authenticity and well-being. Their attempts to control you through guilt and manipulation lose their effectiveness when you embrace the principles of modern Stoicism, which emphasize wisdom, courage, and self-discipline. The narcissist's tactics are designed to distract you from your journey of healing and self-discovery. By refusing to play into their hands, you reclaim your power and redirect your energy toward personal growth and fulfillment. Modern Stoicism teaches us that true strength lies in mastering our own minds and emotions, not in controlling others. As you focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot, you create a future free from their influence, filled with resilience, clarity, and inner peace. By living authentically and staying true to your values, you transform the pain of the past into the foundation for a brighter and more empowered future. Which of these strategies do you find most surprising or relatable? Is it 1, their initial reaction, 2, their calculated efforts to regain control, 3, their social media manipulation, or 4, their attempts to elicit sympathy? Comment below with 1, 2, 3, or 4 to share your experience or insight, and don't forget to watch until the end. There's a special section coming up that promises to offer a surprising perspective you won't want to miss. Number 3. Narcissists' tactics for manipulation and control. 3.1. The smear campaign is one of the narcissist's most damaging tools, deployed when other strategies such as seduction or closure talks fail to achieve their manipulative goals. In this tactic, the narcissist weaves a web of lies and falsehoods, casting themselves as the victim and you as the villain. They will exploit your vulnerabilities or past mistakes, twisting them into exaggerated or fabricated narratives designed to tarnish your reputation. Their aim is clear: to isolate you from your support network, ensuring that friends, family, or colleagues doubt your character and side with them. This calculated effort is not merely about public opinion. It is about destabilizing you emotionally, stripping away your confidence, and leaving you vulnerable to their influence. They often enlist flying monkeys, those who, knowingly or unknowingly, spread the narcissist's version of events. These individuals may even confront you directly, applying pressure to reconcile or criticizing you on the narcissist's behalf. Such attacks are deeply unsettling and can leave you questioning not only your relationships but your own sense of reality. To understand and counter this manipulation, we can turn to the wisdom of modern Stoicism. Epictetus reminds us, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. The smear campaign is a deliberate provocation, meant to evoke anger, frustration, or self-doubt, which the narcissist can then use as further evidence against you. The key to neutralizing this tactic is recognizing it for what it is, a ploy to control your emotions and reactions. Modern life, with its interconnected social and professional networks, makes smear campaigns particularly effective and painful, as reputational harm can ripple across many aspects of your life. But the Stoic approach teaches us to separate what is within our control, our actions, responses, and character, from what is not, such as the opinions others may hold about us based on false information. In facing such challenges, it's crucial to remain composed and steadfast. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Instead of trying to combat every lie or defend yourself to those who have already been swayed, focus on living with integrity. Your actions and consistent character will eventually speak louder than the narcissist's fabrications. Avoid engaging directly with the smear campaign, as any emotional reaction may be used to validate the false narrative. Instead, rebuild your sense of self by connecting with trusted individuals who truly know and value you. Strengthen these bonds, as they serve as a foundation for weathering the storm of deceit. In the face of a smear campaign, it's tempting to lash out or correct the record with everyone who may have been misled. But modern Stoicism encourages a more measured response. By focusing on your own growth and maintaining your dignity, you demonstrate the resilience that Stoic philosophy champions. Seneca wisely observed, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." The narcissist craves control and validation, revealing their inner poverty of character. By refusing to feed their narrative, you deny them the power they seek over your life. The smear campaign is a challenge to your emotional resilience and commitment to living authentically. Use this opportunity to practice modern Stoicism by cultivating patience, self-control, and clarity. Surround yourself with those who uplift you and focus on building a future independent of the narcissist's influence. Your reputation is shaped over time by the consistency of your actions, not the lies of someone seeking to undermine you. As you navigate this trying experience, let the Stoic mindset remind you that your peace and virtue are impervious to external attacks, grounded firmly in your own hands. Narcissists often hope that when you go no contact, you'll be consumed by misery and regret, envisioning you spiraling into emotional distress over leaving them. This belief is not just a fleeting thought for them. It's a core part of their psychological need for control and superiority. They thrive on the idea that you'll realize you made a mistake and come crawling back, reinforcing their illusion of power. Your suffering isn't incidental to their plans. It's central to the narrative they create for themselves. To keep this fantasy alive, they may paint themselves as victims, crafting tales about how you abandoned them in their darkest moments. These carefully constructed stories are not just for others but are meant to seep into your mind, to make you feel guilty and doubt your decisions. The guilt they provoke can plant seeds of confusion, weakening your resolve to stay no contact. Often they'll take it further by telling others that they're waiting for you to come back, building an image of themselves as the wronged party. This manipulation is another tool they use to maintain control, and if you give in and reach out, they seize the opportunity to manipulate you further, whether by playing on your guilt or reasserting dominance, confirming their belief that you still need them. Think of Jake's story. After enduring years in a toxic relationship with his narcissistic partner Claire, he finally found the strength to leave. Determined to heal, Jake cut all contact, prioritizing his mental well-being. But Claire wasn't ready to let him go. She began telling mutual friends that she was heartbroken, that Jake had left her when she needed him most. At first, Jake felt pangs of guilt. He questioned his decision, wondering if he had been selfish. Then, he remembered the Stoic secrets he had been learning. He reminded himself that he couldn't control Claire's narrative, only his response to it. By staying grounded and recognizing her manipulative tactics for what they were, Jake found clarity. He saw that Claire's portrayal of herself as a victim wasn't genuine. It was an attempt to pull him back into her web of control. By holding firm to no contact, Jake reclaimed his emotional independence and refused to let her actions dictate his feelings. Now reflect on your own experiences. Have you ever felt compelled to act out of guilt, even when you knew it wasn't in your best interest? Narcissists count on this reaction. They rely on your empathy and sense of responsibility to keep you emotionally tied to them, even after the relationship is over. But here's the truth. You don't owe them your emotional energy. The Stoic mindset teaches us that we don't need to react to every provocation. When you choose no contact, you disrupt their ability to control how you feel. Whether through guilt, anger, or sorrow, they aim to keep you tethered, but the power to break free lies within you. By shifting your focus from their manipulations to your own healing, you take the first step toward emotional freedom. Ask yourself, what can I do today to nurture my peace and self-acceptance? Can you recognize the patterns of manipulation they use, and can you choose not to engage? The reality is, their hope for your misery is rooted in their own insecurity. The more they try to keep you emotionally bound, the more they reveal their dependence on your reactions to feel powerful. By breaking free of this dynamic, you deny them the control they crave and begin to build a life centered on your own strength and independence. The goal isn't to win against them, it's to transcend the need for their approval or validation entirely. True growth isn't found in fighting back, but in letting go. Stoic secrets remind us that peace isn't achieved by controlling others, but by mastering our own responses. Every time you choose your healing over their manipulations, you take another step toward genuine freedom and fulfillment. By focusing on your well-being, you reclaim your power and build a life rooted in authenticity, resilience, and inner peace. Narcissists are adept at seeking validation, and one of their primary strategies to cope after a breakup is to quickly search for a new supply. This refers to finding another person who can fulfill their insatiable need for admiration and ego reinforcement. Far from being an act of love or genuine affection, this search is often a desperate attempt to fill the emotional void left when they lose their primary source of validation, you. The new partner, or supply, is not valued for their individuality or connection. They are objectified and used as a means to bolster the narcissist's fragile self-esteem. These rebound relationships are rarely about genuine connection, but are instead a mask for the narcissist's underlying insecurities and emotional distress. By diving into a new relationship, the narcissist avoids confronting their deeper issues, using the attention of a new partner to distract themselves from their inner emptiness. This behavior reveals a key aspect of narcissistic patterns: their inability to engage in relationships based on mutual respect and empathy. While the narcissist might initially shower the new supply with attention and admiration, a phase that resembles the love-bombing tactic, they are unlikely to sustain these gestures. Relationships with narcissists are fundamentally unstable because their primary focus is on receiving validation rather than giving love. The narcissist often keeps their options open, seeking additional sources of admiration and comparing the new partner to you in subtle or overt ways. This comparison serves a dual purpose. It bolsters their sense of superiority while sending a signal to you that you've been replaced. Yet this replacement is not about genuine affection for the new partner. It is about maintaining control and preserving their fragile ego. For the new supply, this dynamic is often as toxic as it was for you. The narcissist's charm may initially conceal their manipulative tendencies, but over time, the pattern of objectification and emotional manipulation emerges. Just as you may have felt used and discarded, the new partner is likely to experience a similar fate once they no longer fulfill the narcissist's insatiable need for validation. Narcissists often leave behind a trail of broken relationships, perpetually chasing admiration while avoiding the introspection needed for personal growth. As Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This quote encapsulates the narcissist's endless pursuit of external validation, which is rooted in their inability to find peace within themselves. Modern Stoicism offers a profound perspective on how to navigate this behavior and protect your well-being. By focusing on what lies within your control, your thoughts, actions, and responses, you can break free from the emotional turmoil that the narcissist seeks to create. Marcus Aurelius wisely noted, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This philosophy is a reminder to shift your focus away from the narcissist's actions and toward your own healing and self-discovery. Recognizing that the narcissist's search for new supply is not a reflection of your worth, but of their insecurities, is a critical step in reclaiming your peace. In practical terms, it's essential to set clear boundaries and resist the urge to compare yourself to the new supply. This comparison only serves the narcissist's agenda by keeping you emotionally entangled. Instead, channel your energy into building a life that aligns with your values and goals. Surround yourself with supportive people who affirm your worth and engage in activities that foster your growth and happiness. By prioritizing your well-being, you weaken the narcissist's ability to control your emotions and reclaim the power they once held over you. Number 4. How to protect yourself and moving forward. 1. Set and maintain strong boundaries. Protecting yourself and moving forward after leaving a narcissist begins with one fundamental practice: setting and maintaining strong boundaries. These boundaries are not just protective walls, but the foundation of your emotional well-being and self-respect. They define what you will accept in your life and send a clear message about your commitment to your peace. Whether it involves going no contact, blocking the narcissist on social media, or using structured tools like co-parenting apps, the goal is to create a firm separation that protects you from their manipulation. The challenge lies in upholding these boundaries when the narcissist tests them, using guilt, emotional appeals, or provocations to lure you back into their toxic control. Their tactics often frame themselves as victims and appeal to your empathy, attempting to make you feel responsible for the relationship's breakdown. However, as Epictetus wisely stated, no man is free who is not master of himself. Staying steadfast in your decisions is the key to reclaiming your autonomy and preserving the peace they seek to disrupt. In a world where social media and constant connectivity make it easier for toxic individuals to invade our space, maintaining boundaries has become a vital skill. Modern Stoicism, a practical philosophy for contemporary life, reminds us to focus on what we can control: our actions, choices, and emotional responses. Blocking a narcissist or limiting contact may feel harsh, but it is an essential act of self-preservation. By removing their influence from your life, you create the conditions for healing and growth. Surround yourself with people who respect your boundaries and support your journey, as their encouragement will reinforce your resolve. As Marcus Aurelius observed, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. These challenges are not setbacks, but opportunities to strengthen your resilience and deepen your commitment to living a healthier, more peaceful life. Setting boundaries is not just about keeping a narcissist out. It is about reclaiming your autonomy and power. A narcissist's reactions, whether through manipulation, defiance, or guilt-tripping, reflect their need for control rather than any failure on your part. By standing firm, you send a clear message that their influence over your life has ended. This practice aligns with the principles of modern Stoicism, which emphasize courage, discipline, and the ability to rise above external pressures. Narcissists thrive on chaos, but your calm, steady resolve is your greatest strength. Peace is not something they can grant or take away. It is a state you cultivate through consistent actions and a clear focus on what truly matters. In difficult moments, seeking help is not a sign of weakness, but an act of wisdom. If the narcissist's behavior escalates to the point of feeling threatening, legal intervention or professional counseling may be necessary to protect yourself. Seneca's wisdom reminds us, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." By setting and maintaining strong boundaries, you invest in a life of clarity, stability, and emotional freedom. These boundaries are not just tools for protection, they are a reflection of your growth and self-respect. Modern Stoicism teaches that boundaries are acts of integrity and virtue. They demonstrate your commitment to living authentically and prioritizing your well-being over the demands of others. Each time you reinforce your boundaries, you practice self-mastery, an essential Stoic principle. By focusing on what you can control, your mindset, actions, and future, you create a life defined by your values, not dictated by external chaos. Narcissists may attempt to test your resolve, but their efforts will only highlight the progress you've made. With time, consistency, and the support of those who truly care for you, your boundaries will transform from a defense mechanism into a celebration of the empowered life you are building. 2. The power of silence and no reaction. Silence is one of the most powerful tools at your disposal when dealing with a narcissist. These individuals thrive on emotional reactions, feeding on your frustration, anger, or even sadness to sustain their sense of control and superiority. Every time you engage with their insults, guilt trips, or manipulative tactics, you fuel their need for attention and validation. But when you choose silence, you disrupt this dynamic entirely. Imagine the narcissist launching one of their calculated provocations, expecting you to lash out or defend yourself, only to be met with calm and non-reactive silence. This silence speaks volumes. It says, without a single word, that you are no longer willing to play their games. Without your reactions, their source of emotional power dries up. Silence denies them the satisfaction of seeing you upset or defensive, serving as a clear boundary that reflects your refusal to be drawn into their web of manipulation. Consider Emma, who spent years in a toxic relationship with her narcissistic partner, Mark. Every argument, Every guilt-laden accusation and every belittling comment seemed to keep Emma trapped in a cycle of emotional chaos. Finally, she found the strength to leave. Determined to protect her peace, Emma decided to go no contact, choosing silence even when Mark tried to bait her with messages like, "How could you leave me when I needed you most?" or insults aimed at making her doubt her decisions. At first, Mark's attempts intensified. He involved mutual friends, sent more desperate texts, and even spread lies to make Emma look like the villain. But Emma remained steadfast, recalling the Stoic secrets she had embraced, focusing on what she could control, her emotions and her reactions. Over time, Mark's efforts dwindled, and for the first time in years, Emma felt the weight of his control lift. Her silence wasn't just about not speaking. It was an active declaration of her independence and a reclaiming of her mental and emotional freedom. Now, think about your own experiences. How often do you feel compelled to respond when someone pushes your buttons? Narcissists count on this urge. They depend on the fact that you might feel the need to defend yourself, explain your actions, or react to their provocations. But the power of silence, when paired with emotional detachment, is transformative. It's not about suppressing your feelings, but about refusing to give the narcissist the power to control them. The key is remaining calm, composed, and resolute, even when they escalate their behavior in an attempt to provoke a response. They may push harder, sending more pointed messages, or even creating new ways to get your attention. But every time you refuse to engage, you reinforce the boundary that their influence over you is gone. Choosing silence not only protects you from their manipulation, but also creates space for your healing and personal growth. By stepping away from the emotional chaos they thrive on, you give yourself the opportunity to reconnect with your priorities and your peace of mind. Ask yourself, what do I truly gain by responding? Am I feeding their need for control, or am I choosing my own well-being? This isn't about winning a verbal sparring match or proving your point to them. It's about reclaiming your time, energy, and emotional independence. Every moment you spend not reacting is a moment you can dedicate to building a healthier, happier life for yourself. At its core, silence is a profound act of self-respect. It communicates that your peace of mind and emotional stability are more important than their manipulative games. It says that you refuse to be a pawn in their pursuit of validation and control. The Stoic secrets remind us of an essential truth. We are not obligated to react to every provocation. True strength lies in mastering our own emotions and responses, rather than allowing others to dictate them. When you choose silence over engagement, you reclaim your power. It becomes your shield, protecting you from the chaos they try to create, and your statement of independence, declaring that their hold over you is broken. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means freedom. It allows you to prioritize your own healing, to focus on what truly matters, and to break free from the toxic patterns that have kept you stuck. Every time you resist the urge to react, you reinforce your commitment to yourself. So let your silence speak for you. Let it declare your strength, your resilience, and your unshakable resolve to live life on your terms, free from the manipulations of others. This silence is not just the absence of words, it's the presence of peace, power, and purpose. 3. Focus on building a new life. Rebuilding your life after leaving a narcissist is a deeply transformative journey, and it begins with shifting your focus from the toxicity of the past relationship to your own growth and future. The first step is to reclaim your sense of self by identifying personal goals, passions, and desires that may have been overshadowed during the relationship. Reflect on what truly brings you joy and fulfillment, whether it's rediscovering hobbies you once loved, exploring new interests, or pursuing professional aspirations that align with your values. This process is not just about filling the void left by the narcissist, but about creating a life that genuinely reflects who you are and what you want. At the same time, nurturing your emotional and physical well-being is essential. Incorporate self-care practices that promote healing and resilience, such as therapy, exercise, mindfulness, or journaling. These activities not only help you process your emotions, but also reinforce your commitment to your own well-being, reminding you that your needs and happiness matter. Equally important is the need to cultivate a supportive network of people who uplift and inspire you. Seek out relationships with individuals who validate your experiences, respect your boundaries, and encourage you on your journey toward recovery. Letting go of toxic connections, especially those who may have enabled the narcissist's behavior or contributed to the dysfunction, is a vital step in creating a healthier environment for yourself. This act of letting go can feel daunting, but it is a necessary part of reclaiming your power and building a solid foundation for the life you deserve. As you begin to distance yourself from negativity, take time to reflect on the progress you've made. Recognize your resilience and courage in breaking free from the manipulative grasp of the narcissistic relationship. Celebrate the milestones, big or small, as each one represents a step toward a more empowered and authentic version of yourself. The wisdom of modern Stoicism provides a powerful framework for navigating this process. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This philosophy encourages us to view challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and transformation. The pain of leaving a narcissistic relationship can be overwhelming, but it also serves as the catalyst for self-discovery and empowerment. By focusing on what is within your control, your choices, mindset, and actions, you can create a life that is not only free from manipulation, but also rooted in strength and purpose. Modern Stoicism teaches that true happiness comes from aligning your actions with your values and finding peace in the present moment. As you embrace your newfound independence, take pride in the person you are becoming, a stronger, more self-assured individual who has reclaimed control over their life. This transformation is not just about surviving a toxic relationship, but about thriving in its aftermath. Celebrate the courage it took to leave, the determination to heal, and the dedication to building a future that reflects your true self. Remember, as Seneca said, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." Focus on quality over quantity in all areas of your life, whether it's in relationships, pursuits, or personal growth. Let this new chapter be a testament to your resilience and an example of how challenges can shape us into stronger, wiser individuals. By embracing the principles of modern Stoicism, self-discipline, wisdom, and courage, you can navigate the path of healing with clarity and purpose. Surround yourself with positivity, invest in your well-being, and continue to pursue the life you deserve. You are no longer defined by the narcissist's manipulation. Instead, you are empowered by your ability to rise above it and build a life rooted in authenticity, freedom, and fulfillment. As you reflect on what a narcissist hopes when you go no contact, remember that their tactics are designed to pull you back into their control, but your strength lies in staying firm and prioritizing your own well-being. Breaking free was the right decision, and by embracing a stoic mindset, you can reclaim your peace and move forward toward a healthier, happier life. At Stoic in Your Life, we're here to remind you that you're not alone on this journey, and every step you take toward healing is a step toward freedom. What strategies have helped you maintain your boundaries and focus on your growth? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your experiences. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you can join us for more insights on personal growth and resilience. Wishing you strength and peace as you continue on your journey. Stop talking, start doing. Take action now. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, Musonius Rufus. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. Welcome back to Stoic in Your Life. Today we are diving deep into one of the most powerful principles of self-growth. Stop talking, start doing, Take action now. This isn't just about planning for the future or thinking about what you could be. This is about turning those thoughts into real, tangible action. The Stoics, from Epictetus to Marcus Aurelius, understood that wisdom is only meaningful when it's applied. It's easy to get stuck in a cycle of overthinking, waiting for the perfect moment, or endlessly discussing plans, but none of that will bring true change. What really matters is what you do. If you've been feeling stuck, waiting for the right time to start, today's the day to break free from that inaction. Whether it's improving your relationships, advancing in your career, or working on personal goals, the time to start is now. As Seneca wisely said, "While we wait for life, life passes." The Stoics remind us that time is fleeting, and we must make the most of it by living in accordance with our values and taking consistent action toward our goals. So, are you ready to move beyond words and begin making real progress in your life? Let's get started. Lesson 1. Stoic Style. It's about inner substance. Too often, especially in modern society, we place tremendous value on how we appear to others. We get caught up in superficial markers of success, how we dress, the kind of car we drive, or the status we portray online. But the Stoics teach us something profoundly different. It's not about the image you project to the world, but the person you are when no one is watching. True strength, beauty, and success come from within, from the virtues you cultivate and the principles you live by. Musonius Rufus once said, "For philosophy doesn't consist in outward display, but in taking heed to what is needed and being mindful of it." The Stoic idea of style isn't about fashion, it's about character. It's about building a foundation that withstands the test of time, regardless of how the world changes around you. This idea may seem countercultural in today's world, where social media highlights appearances and status symbols, but for men aged 30 to 65, this is where the real value lies. The trappings of wealth and success may come and go, but who you are as a person, how you treat others, how you handle adversity, and how you stay true to your principles will define you more than any material possession ever could. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This call to action is not about proving yourself to others, but about holding yourself accountable to your own values. To live with inner substance, you must first know yourself. The Stoics emphasize self-awareness as the bedrock of all personal development. Socrates' timeless advice, "Know thyself," resonates with anyone looking to live authentically. Ask yourself, what are my core values? Am I living in a way that reflects those values, or am I distracted by external validation? Without this inner clarity, you risk being swept away by the opinions and expectations of others. The Stoics challenge you to focus not on impressing the world, but on embodying the virtues that matter most to you. Whether it's honesty, courage, integrity, or patience, these are the qualities that should define your life, not what others think of you. In modern life, this idea becomes even more critical. Society constantly pressures us to perform, to succeed by certain standards, and to chase after material wealth as a measure of our worth. But true success, according to the Stoics, is living in accordance with your values. He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have, said Socrates. It's not about accumulating more, but about being satisfied with who you are and the life you're living. For men in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond, this lesson becomes more relevant as we navigate the pressures of career, family, and societal expectations. At the end of the day, the question isn't how much you've achieved in the eyes of the world, but whether you've lived in a way that aligns with your values. Living a life of substance means making your actions speak louder than words. It's easy to talk about what you value, but the real measure of your character comes from how you act. As Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." The Stoics knew that actions speak far more loudly than grand speeches or public declarations. Your real character is revealed in those quiet moments when no one is looking. When you choose to do the right thing, not because it's expected or rewarded, but because it aligns with who you are. In today's world, it's tempting to seek recognition for every action, to post every good deed on social media for validation. But the Stoic approach is much more profound. It teaches us to do what is right, because it is right, not because we seek applause or external approval. The wisdom of the Stoics extends into how we deal with adversity and challenges. In a world where people often measure success by how much they can accumulate, or how perfect their lives appear, the Stoics remind us that true success is measured by how we handle difficulty. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men of his time, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is one of the most important lessons for any man. You cannot control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. By focusing on your internal values, you free yourself from being a victim of circumstance. The external world may throw challenges your way, but if you've built a foundation of inner substance, you'll have the strength to weather any storm. Lesson 2. The Path to Becoming, a Stoic Guide to Purposeful Living. The Stoics believed that the journey to self-improvement and fulfillment doesn't start with external circumstances. It begins with an internal decision, a clear vision of the person you want to be and the relentless pursuit of becoming that person. It's easy to get lost in the busyness of modern life, with distractions constantly pulling you away from your true path. But purposeful living requires you to be fully aware of who you are and where you want to go. In a world full of noise, the ability to stop, reflect, and take deliberate action is one of the most valuable skills you can cultivate. The Stoics understood this centuries ago, and their wisdom is more relevant today than ever before. Think about it. How often do you find yourself caught up in day-to-day tasks, forgetting the bigger picture of your life? Are you living according to your values, or are you simply reacting to the circumstances around you? These are the types of questions the Stoics ask themselves regularly. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, famously wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This statement cuts straight to the core of what it means to live with intention. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or endlessly debating what you should do. It's about taking action every single day that moves you closer to the person you want to become. The world doesn't need more people talking about what they plan to do. It needs more people actually doing it. In modern life, we are bombarded with information, choices, and obligations. It can feel overwhelming to know where to start or what the right path is. But here's the thing. The Stoics teach us that you are in control of how you respond to life. You may not be able to control what happens around you, but you absolutely have control over how you react to it. This is the essence of purposeful living. It's about being the captain of your own ship, steering your life according to your values and your goals, not letting external forces push you off course. Consider this. When you wake up each morning, do you have a clear sense of purpose, or do you let the day control you? Are you setting your own agenda, or are you simply reacting to what comes your way? The difference between living with intention and drifting through life is profound, and it all starts with understanding what truly matters to you. A great example of this in modern life can be seen in how people approach their careers. Many people spend years in jobs they don't enjoy because they think it's what they're supposed to do, or because they've never taken the time to reflect on what they actually want. But then there are those who wake up one day and decide to make a change. They quit the job that's draining them, they pursue a passion that excites them, and they begin to live life on their own terms. This is a perfect illustration of what the Stoics teach us about purposeful living. It's never too late to take control and start living intentionally. The choice to live a meaningful life is yours to make, and it can begin at any moment. As Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So, what's stopping you from making that change right now? Purposeful living also involves embracing the challenges that come your way. The Stoics believed that adversity was not something to be feared, but something to be embraced, because it's through struggle that we grow and become stronger. Musonius Rufus said, "There is no better way to improve yourself than to face difficulties with courage and perseverance." This mindset is critical in today's fast-paced world, where so many people shy away from challenges, seeking comfort and ease. But comfort doesn't lead to growth. Think about a time in your life when you faced a difficult situation. Did it ultimately make you stronger, more resilient, more capable? If you reflect honestly, you'll likely realize that your most significant periods of growth came not from moments of comfort, but from moments of challenge. The Stoics teach us to welcome these challenges because they are opportunities for self-improvement and personal growth. So what does this mean for you? It means that in your daily life, you should be constantly asking yourself whether you are living intentionally. Are you focused on becoming the best version of yourself? Or are you getting lost in distractions? One of the greatest pieces of advice from the Stoics is to simplify your life. As Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." If you find yourself constantly overwhelmed, stressed, or dissatisfied, it may be because you are spending too much time on things that don't matter. Purposeful living is about cutting out the noise and focusing on what's truly important to you. This might mean saying no to certain commitments, changing your habits, or even shifting your career path. But the most important thing is that you take control and make these decisions consciously, instead of letting life happen to you. And here's where I want you to reflect. What is one area of your life where you've been coasting, rather than living intentionally? Take a moment to really think about it. Maybe it's your health, your relationships, or your career. Maybe it's the way you spend your free time. Whatever it is, ask yourself, are you taking deliberate actions that align with your values and your long-term goals, or are you just going through the motions? The Stoics teach us that life is too short to be lived passively. Every day is an opportunity to become a little bit better, to move a little closer to the person you want to be. The lesson is clear. The path to becoming is not some distant goal or unreachable ideal. It's something you live every single day, in the small choices you make, in the way you respond to challenges, and in the clarity of your purpose. As you go about your day today, I challenge you to think deeply about the path you're on. Are you living intentionally, or are you allowing life to dictate your actions? Remember, the Stoics teach us that you have the power to choose. You have the power to take control, to stop talking, and to start doing. The question is, will you take that power and use it? It's time to stop waiting, stop planning, and start acting. Lesson 3. Stoic actions. Deeds speak louder than words. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Epictetus. It's a simple yet powerful reminder that talking about who you want to be or what you believe is meaningless without action. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Musonius Rufus, were all about living their principles rather than just discussing them. You can spend hours talking about your goals, values, and virtues, but until you take action, none of it truly matters. So let me ask you, are you living your philosophy, or are you just talking about it? The Stoic philosophy revolves around the idea that wisdom is only useful if it's applied in everyday life. They believed that how you conduct yourself in your daily life is the ultimate measure of your character, not the grand plans you make or the eloquent speeches you give. Actions, no matter how small, always speak louder than words. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in the culture of self-promotion, where people post about their accomplishments, opinions, and beliefs, seeking validation through likes and shares. But the Stoics would remind us that none of these things matter unless you're truly living in accordance with your values. Think about it. What good is it to post motivational quotes on social media if you're not practicing what those quotes preach in real life? If you want to be a person of integrity, courage, and discipline, you have to show it in your actions, not just say it. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. B1. This is a call to all of us to stop just talking about our principles and start living them every day, especially in the small, mundane moments when no one is watching. It's easy to make excuses for why you're not taking action. You might say you're waiting for the right time, or that you'll start tomorrow. But as Seneca wisely said, while we wait for life, life passes. If you're waiting for the perfect moment to act, you might be waiting forever. The Stoics knew that life is short and unpredictable, and the only thing you truly have control over is the present moment. So why not take action now? What's stopping you? The truth is, every day you delay is a day you could have spent making progress toward your goals, building your character, and becoming the person you want to be. It's time to stop making excuses and start taking small steps that align with your values. One of the most common barriers to action is the fear of failure or imperfection. But the Stoics taught that failure is not something to be feared, it's an opportunity for growth. Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This is an incredibly empowering mindset. You can't always control the outcome of your efforts, but you can control how you handle setbacks. Instead of being paralyzed by fear or waiting until you have everything figured out, the Stoics encourage you to take action, learn from your mistakes, and keep moving forward. After all, it's through action that you gain experience, wisdom, and resilience. Ask yourself, how do I respond when things don't go as planned? Do I let failure stop me, or do I use it as fuel to improve? Another key aspect of Stoic action is the idea of leading by example. It's not enough to talk about being a good person. You have to demonstrate it through your actions, especially in difficult situations. Musonius Rufus, a lesser-known but highly influential Stoic, emphasized that virtue is shown in how we behave toward others. Whether it's being kind in the face of rudeness, staying calm in the midst of chaos, or helping others without expecting anything in return, your actions will speak volumes about who you are. Think about someone in your life who inspires you. Is it their words that inspire you, or is it the way they live their life? The people we admire most are often those who act with integrity, kindness, and strength, even when it's not easy. So the question is, what kind of example are you setting with your actions? In our fast-paced modern world, we're often tempted to focus on immediate results and quick wins. But the Stoics remind us that real change and growth happen slowly over time, through consistent action. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that obstacles are not roadblocks. They are opportunities to practice resilience and to move forward. Every challenge you face is a chance to demonstrate your character and improve yourself. Are you using those opportunities to grow, or are you letting them hold you back? The beauty of Stoicism is that it's a practical philosophy. It's not about grand theories or complex ideas. It's about applying simple principles in everyday life. It's about doing the right thing, even when it's hard, and not letting external circumstances dictate your behavior. You don't need to make dramatic changes to live a Stoic life. In fact, the most profound transformations often come from small, consistent actions. Whether it's practicing gratitude, showing patience, or making a difficult but necessary decision, every action you take contributes to the person you are becoming. So, what's one small action you can take today to live more in alignment with your values? The lesson is clear. Your actions define you more than your words ever will. You can talk about who you want to be, but until you start acting on it, you're just spinning your wheels. As the Stoics teach, life is too short to waste time on empty words. It's time to take control of your life and make your actions count. The world needs more people who live by example, who don't just talk about their principles, but embody them. So, what are you waiting for? Start living the life you've been talking about. Share in the comments one action you're going to take today to put your values into practice, and let's hold each other accountable as we strive to live with purpose and integrity. Lesson 4. Inner wealth, the Stoic case for giving back. While modern society often equates success with the accumulation of wealth, status, and power, the Stoics believe that real wealth is found within, through virtues such as generosity, kindness, and service to others. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "What is not good for the beehive cannot be good for the bee." In other words, when you give back to others, you enrich not only their lives, but also your own. The pursuit of inner wealth, as the Stoics taught, is the key to a meaningful, fulfilling life. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to become consumed by the desire for material success. We're bombarded by messages that tell us we need more money, a bigger house, a better car, all the external markers of wealth. But let's pause for a moment and ask ourselves, are these things really making us happy? The Stoics would argue that they aren't. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This is a powerful reminder that no matter how much we accumulate, true contentment comes from within, from the virtues we cultivate and the ways in which we give back to the world around us. So what does it mean to cultivate inner wealth? For the Stoics, it's about living in alignment with virtues like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. It's about using the resources you have, whether they are time, skills, or material wealth, to make a positive impact on others. This idea is incredibly relevant today, especially for men aged 30 to 65, who are often at a stage in life where they've achieved a certain level of success, but might be asking themselves, what's next? How can I give my life more meaning? The Stoic answer is simple: start giving back. It's not just about writing checks to charity or donating your old clothes, though those are valuable acts. It's about being present, offering your time and attention to those who need it, mentoring someone who could benefit from your experience, or simply being kind in your daily interactions. These actions, small as they may seem, are the true expressions of inner wealth. One of the most important lessons the Stoics teach us is that giving back doesn't just benefit others, it transforms us as well. When we focus on contributing to the greater good, we stop being so concerned with our own problems, our own worries, and our own desires. This shift in focus helps us cultivate a sense of perspective, resilience, and gratitude. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By choosing to think about how we can serve others, we elevate our thoughts and in turn elevate our own experience of life. This isn't just a feel-good sentiment, it's a practical approach to living a life of purpose and fulfillment. When you stop focusing on what you can get and start thinking about what you can give, you tap into a source of happiness that external achievements and material wealth simply can't provide. Think about it. Have you ever done something kind for someone, whether it was lending a hand to a friend, volunteering your time, or offering a word of encouragement? How did it make you feel? Chances are it gave you a sense of satisfaction that money or material success never could. The Stoics understood this deeply, which is why they placed so much emphasis on giving back. Musonius Rufus, another influential Stoic, once said, "To help others by doing good not only benefits them, but also ourselves." When you live in a way that benefits others, you're enriching your own life in ways that far surpass anything you could gain from selfish pursuits. In our modern world, where individualism is often celebrated, the idea of giving back might seem old-fashioned or even counterintuitive, but it's more relevant now than ever. We live in a time where loneliness, anxiety, and depression are on the rise, despite the fact that many of us are more materially successful than ever before. What's missing? The Stoics would argue that it's the sense of connection and purpose that comes from living for something greater than ourselves. What if the key to your happiness and fulfillment lies not in what you achieve, but in what you give? This is the challenge the Stoics present to us, to stop measuring success by the size of our bank accounts and start measuring it by the size of our impact on others. Giving back doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It can be as simple as listening to someone who needs to talk, offering advice to a colleague, or helping a neighbor with a small task. These moments of generosity and connection are what the Stoics considered true wealth. They believed that the more you give, the richer you become, not in terms of money or possessions, but in terms of character and fulfillment. As you go through your day, think about how you can give back. What small act of kindness can you perform today that will make someone else's life better? This shift in perspective, from focusing on what you can get to focusing on what you can give, can transform your life in profound ways. The Stoic case for giving back is simple. True wealth comes from within. It's not about how much you accumulate, but how much you contribute to the world around you. When you focus on giving, you'll find that life becomes more meaningful, more fulfilling, and more joyful. And in doing so, you'll discover that the most valuable thing you can offer isn't something external. It's the goodness and virtue that you cultivate within yourself. So, let me ask you, what will you do today to give back? Will you offer your time, your kindness, or your expertise to someone in need? The choice is yours, and as the Stoics remind us, it's the most important choice you can make. Thank you for joining us in today's video. Before we move on, I'd like to take a moment to express my gratitude to you. Being part of this community with you is truly a pleasure. Feel free to share your thoughts or personal experiences in the comments. If you're new, just leave a comment saying I am a newbie, and if you've been with us for a while, comment I am Stoic. Your engagement means a lot and motivates us to keep delivering content that matters. Let's keep growing together, shall we? Let's keep growing. Lesson 5. Mental Fitness, a Stoic plan for strengthening the mind. In our modern world, we often focus so much on physical fitness, career success, and external achievements that we forget the importance of training the mind. But the Stoics understood that the mind is our greatest asset, and the strength we develop within is what helps us face life's inevitable challenges. Mental fitness isn't just about knowledge or intelligence, it's about cultivating resilience, clarity, and control over our emotions. It's about being able to navigate difficult situations with calmness and purpose, no matter what life throws at you. As Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it, that matters." Your response to life's ups and downs determines the quality of your life, and that's why strengthening the mind is essential for anyone seeking personal growth and fulfillment. To build mental fitness, the Stoics believed in practicing mindfulness and self-awareness daily. This means paying close attention to your thoughts, emotions, and reactions. In today's fast-paced world, we are constantly bombarded by distractions, social media, work pressures, and endless to-do lists that make it easy to lose track of what's truly important. However, by practicing mindfulness, you learn to focus on the present moment, to separate yourself from the noise, and to regain control over your mind. Let me ask you, when was the last time you stopped to reflect on your own thoughts? The Stoics encourage us to step back and ask, are my thoughts serving me, or am I being carried away by worries and anxieties that don't matter in the grand scheme of things? Mental fitness requires you to check in with yourself regularly and decide whether your mind is helping or hindering your progress. A great modern example of mental fitness can be seen in high-performance athletes. Take professional tennis players, for example. While their physical training is crucial, their mental preparation often makes the difference between winning and losing. Imagine standing on the court with the whole world watching, the pressure mounting, and the outcome uncertain. It's not just their physical ability that helps them perform under pressure. It's their mental toughness, their ability to stay focused and calm even when the stakes are high. They've trained their minds to handle stress, to push through fear and doubt, and to stay locked into the present moment. This is mental fitness in action. And just like these athletes, you can train your mind to stay calm and collected when facing challenges in your own life. The ability to maintain composure and focus, no matter how stressful or chaotic the situation, is a skill that will serve you in every area of your life. One of the key elements of mental fitness is the practice of self-discipline. The Stoics believe that without discipline, we cannot hope to control our thoughts or actions. Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, but because we do not dare that they are difficult." How many times have you avoided taking action because the task seemed too overwhelming or difficult? The truth is, once you start to discipline your mind, you begin to see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles. Discipline isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Whether it's sticking to a morning routine, committing to daily exercise, or practicing gratitude, self-discipline helps you strengthen your mental muscles over time. It's these small, consistent actions that build mental toughness and resilience. So let me ask you, what small change can you commit to today that will help you develop more mental discipline? The Stoics also emphasize the importance of controlling your emotions, especially when faced with adversity. In today's society, we often hear people talk about emotional intelligence, but the Stoics had been teaching this concept for centuries. They believed that our emotions are powerful forces that can either guide us or mislead us, depending on how well we manage them. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." You cannot control every situation in life, but you can control how you react emotionally. When you feel anger, frustration, or anxiety, ask yourself, is this emotion helping me or hurting me? The more you practice controlling your emotional responses, the more mentally fit you become. It's not about suppressing your emotions, but about understanding them, acknowledging them, and then choosing how to act based on reason rather than impulse. Mental fitness also requires a strong sense of purpose. The Stoics believe that knowing your purpose, your why, is what drives you forward even in difficult times. When you have a clear sense of purpose, setbacks don't feel as overwhelming because you know what you're working toward. Think of people like firefighters or doctors, whose work involves constant exposure to stress and difficult situations. They don't just go through the motions. They have a deep sense of purpose that motivates them to keep going, no matter how challenging the job. The same is true for all of us. When you know why you're doing what you're doing, you can endure much more than you think. So take a moment to reflect. What is your purpose? What drives you to get out of bed every morning? When you align your actions with your purpose, mental fitness becomes much easier to maintain. At the heart of mental fitness is the ability to focus on what you can control. This is one of the most important lessons from Stoicism. Epictetus often reminded his students that there are things within our control and things outside of our control. Too often, we waste mental energy worrying about things that we can't change. The Stoics teach us to focus only on what's within our power, our thoughts, our actions, and our reactions. By doing this, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and anxiety. Think about the last time you were stressed out. Were you focusing on something beyond your control? What if instead you had focused on the actions you could take in that moment? This shift in mindset is one of the most powerful tools for building mental resilience. Mental fitness, just like physical fitness, requires regular training and effort. The Stoics provided a timeless guide for strengthening the mind through mindfulness, self-discipline, emotional control, and a clear sense of purpose. As you go through your day, remember that you have the power to train your mind to handle life's challenges with grace and resilience. Start small, be consistent, and focus on what you can control. As Seneca wisely said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." The more you train your mind, the more prepared you will be for whatever life throws your way. So, what's your next step? How will you strengthen your mind today? Lesson 6. Fulfillment through action. The Stoic key to happiness. The Stoics understood something that many of us struggle with today: Happiness isn't something we passively wait for or stumble upon by chance. It's something we create through deliberate action and choices. In a world where we often hear that happiness comes from achieving external success, the Stoics took a radically different approach. They believed that true fulfillment comes from living in accordance with your values, taking purposeful action, and focusing on the things you can control. The question is, are you waiting for happiness to come to you, or are you actively building it with every choice you make? The path to happiness, according to Stoic philosophy, is found in doing, not in hoping for better circumstances. And that's what we're going to explore next. Let's break it down. How often do we tell ourselves, I'll be happy when... Maybe you're waiting for a promotion, a relationship, or some other milestone to finally feel fulfilled. But the Stoics knew that this mindset leads to an endless cycle of disappointment because no external achievement can bring lasting happiness. As Seneca put it, it is the power of the mind to be unconquerable. You have the power right now to start living a life of purpose and fulfillment by aligning your actions with your values. This isn't just theoretical, this is the real, practical key to happiness. What are you doing today to live according to your principles? Are you taking action, or are you just talking about the life you want to live? When you focus on taking action rather than waiting for happiness, you shift your mindset from one of lack to one of abundance. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." In other words, your happiness is not dictated by external events but by how you choose to respond to them. The Stoics didn't just sit around pondering philosophical ideas, they were men of action, people who believed that the way you live your life, every single day, is what determines your happiness. How often do you reflect on your actions? Are they in line with the person you want to be? Or are you letting procrastination and distractions hold you back from reaching your full potential? This is where the Stoic idea of taking action becomes so vital. Happiness is built one step at a time, one intentional action at a time. In today's fast-paced world, we're constantly told that happiness is just around the corner if we can only achieve certain goals, whether it's career success, financial stability, or personal relationships. But here's the truth. Even when you reach those milestones, if you haven't learned how to take purposeful action and live according to your principles, you'll find yourself still searching for happiness. The Stoics knew that external success is fleeting and that real fulfillment comes from within, from knowing you're living in a way that aligns with your deepest values. Ask yourself, what do I truly value? And how can I make sure that my actions reflect those values today? The more your actions reflect your values, the more fulfilled and happy you'll feel. Not because of what you've achieved, but because of how you've chosen to live. One powerful example of this in modern life can be seen in the world of entrepreneurship. Many successful entrepreneurs will tell you that they found fulfillment not in the money they made, but in the process of building something meaningful. They took action, faced challenges, and stayed committed to their values. The same principle applies to all of us, regardless of our profession or life circumstances. It's not about waiting for the perfect opportunity or the right moment. It's about taking action now. As Epictetus wisely said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. The Stoics challenge us to stop thinking and start doing, to live every day as if it matters, because it does. Another key to fulfillment through action is recognizing that setbacks and challenges are not obstacles to happiness, but essential parts of it. The Stoics believed that adversity is a teacher, not a punishment. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow stronger and more resilient. Think about a time when you faced a difficult situation. Maybe you didn't get the job you wanted or a relationship ended. How did you respond? Did you let it derail your happiness, or did you use it as fuel to take even more deliberate action toward your goals? The Stoics remind us that happiness isn't about avoiding hardship, but about using it to propel us forward. As we dive deeper into this idea of fulfillment through action, it's important to address a common misconception: that happiness is the result of achieving a final goal or reaching a specific destination. The Stoics would argue that happiness is found in the journey itself. It's not about waiting for some future moment when everything will be perfect. It's about taking action now, even when things are difficult or uncertain. Seneca once said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." This reminds us that the more we take action, the more prepared we are to seize the opportunities that come our way. The path to happiness is not a straight line. It's filled with twists, turns, and challenges. But every step you take, every action you choose, brings you closer to a life of true fulfillment. So how do you start taking action in a way that leads to fulfillment? It begins with small, consistent steps. You don't need to overhaul your entire life in one day. Start by identifying one area of your life where you can begin to act with more intention. Maybe it's your health, your relationships, or your career. Then, commit to taking one small action today that aligns with your values. Over time, these small actions will build up, creating momentum and leading you toward a life of greater happiness and purpose. And remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The power to change your life and find fulfillment is in your hands, not in the hands of others or in external circumstances. The Stoic key to happiness is simple but profound. Take action. Stop waiting for happiness to find you. Stop thinking that something outside of you will bring you the fulfillment you seek. Instead, focus on living a life of purpose, taking deliberate action every day and embracing the challenges that come your way. Ask yourself, what action can I take today that will move me closer to the life I want to live? Remember, happiness is not something you wait for, it's something you create. So go out there, start doing, and build the life you've always wanted. Lesson 7. Mastering Desire. The Stoic Approach to Staying Cool. Freedom is not achieved by satisfying desire, but by eliminating it. Epictetus. In a world where we are constantly bombarded by messages telling us that happiness and success come from accumulating more, whether it's wealth, status, or pleasure, the Stoics offer a radically different perspective. They believed that true freedom and peace of mind come not from indulging every desire, but from mastering it. As men navigating today's fast-paced, consumer-driven world, it's easy to get caught up in the cycle of wanting more money, more recognition, more possessions. But how often do we stop to ask ourselves, are these desires controlling us, or are we in control of them? The Stoics understood that unchecked desires lead to anxiety, frustration, and dissatisfaction, but by mastering them, we can achieve a deeper sense of fulfillment and inner peace. To truly grasp the Stoic approach to desire, we must first understand the nature of desire itself. Desire, at its core, is the mind's way of reaching for something external, believing that acquiring it will make us happier or more complete. However, the Stoics, particularly Epictetus, warned against this mindset. He reminded us that external things, whether they are material possessions or fleeting pleasures, are outside of our control. And as the Stoics famously taught, trying to control what is beyond our reach only leads to suffering. Instead, the key to staying calm and composed, even in the face of life's temptations, is learning to control our reactions to these desires. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This realization is where true mastery begins. In modern life, we face desires on a daily basis, whether it's the allure of social media, the pressure to climb the corporate ladder, or the constant push to buy more, do more, and achieve more. While ambition and success aren't inherently bad, the Stoics encourage us to ask ourselves whether these pursuits align with our true values, or if we are simply chasing desires out of habit or societal pressure. Take a moment to think about the last time you felt anxious or frustrated. Was it because you didn't get something you desired, or because you feared losing something you already had? The Stoics teach us that this kind of emotional turmoil comes from placing our happiness in external things, rather than cultivating a sense of contentment from within. As Seneca wisely said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." By reducing our dependence on external desires, we can free ourselves from this constant cycle of craving and disappointment. One powerful metaphor the Stoics often use to describe desire is the chase. When we're chasing something, whether it's a promotion, a new car, or someone's approval, we expend a lot of energy running toward it, often without stopping to consider whether it's even worth the pursuit. And like any chase, it can leave us exhausted, frustrated, and unfulfilled. In the end, even if we catch what we're chasing, the satisfaction is often temporary, and soon we find ourselves chasing something else. This cycle of desire is exactly what the Stoics sought to break. They knew that peace and fulfillment come not from constantly acquiring more, but from learning to be content with what we already have and focusing on the things we can control. This doesn't mean we should avoid ambition or goals, but rather that we should pursue them with detachment, understanding that our happiness doesn't depend on their outcome. A great modern example of mastering desire can be seen in the world of professional athletes. The most successful athletes often talk about focusing not on winning every game or achieving every milestone, but on mastering their craft and staying present in the moment. They have desires, of course. They want to win, they want to succeed, but they know that if they become consumed by these desires, it will lead to stress, overthinking, and ultimately poor performance. Instead, they focus on what they can control: their training, their mindset, and their effort. By doing this, they stay cool under pressure and often achieve great success as a result. This is exactly what the Stoics teach us about life. Focus on mastering yourself, not the outcome of your desires. In our daily lives, one of the most practical ways to apply the Stoic approach to desire is to practice gratitude. When we focus on what we already have, rather than what we lack, we start to shift our mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. As Epictetus said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." This simple but profound shift can dramatically reduce the power that desire has over us. Instead of constantly striving for more, we can learn to appreciate the present moment and find contentment in the here and now. And in doing so, we free ourselves from the anxiety and restlessness that often accompany unchecked desire. Another key component of mastering desire is understanding the difference between needs and wants. The Stoics encouraged us to focus on our basic needs: food, shelter, meaningful relationships, and to view our wants as optional luxuries that we can live without. This doesn't mean you have to give up everything you enjoy, but it does mean recognizing that your happiness doesn't depend on acquiring more of these wants. By simplifying your life and focusing on what truly matters, you can find a sense of inner peace that no amount of external success can provide. Seneca put it best when he said, "The greatest wealth is to live content with little." So, how do we begin to master our desires in a world that constantly pushes us to want more? Start by paying attention to your emotional responses. The next time you feel frustrated or anxious, ask yourself, what desire is at the root of this feeling? Is it a desire for something outside of your control? By identifying the source of your frustration, you can begin to let go of the need to control external outcomes and focus instead on controlling your own thoughts and reactions. Over time, this practice will help you cultivate a sense of inner calm and resilience, no matter what life throws your way. If you've made it this far, you're truly ready to take action. Drop a comment saying, "I am taking action," to show you're committed to making a real change in your life. Stay tuned. This journey is just beginning. Lesson 8. Handling Praise and Criticism, a Stoic Guide to Balance. In our daily lives, we are constantly subjected to the opinions of others, whether it's compliments or critiques. It's easy to let praise lift us up or criticism tear us down, but the Stoics teach us to find balance in how we respond to these external judgments. We often fall into the trap of letting others' opinions dictate our self-worth. But what would happen if we began to focus more on our own principles and less on the fleeting opinions of others? Are we living our lives based on our values, or are we shaped by how we're perceived by those around us? The Stoics believed that true strength lies in detaching ourselves from praise and blame alike and instead seeking validation from within. One of the key ideas in Stoic philosophy is that you cannot control how others perceive you. Whether people praise you or criticize you, it says more about their perspective than it does about your character. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This insight points to a paradox we often fall into. We value our own opinions, yet allow others' thoughts to have a greater influence on our emotions and actions. But why should we be swayed by praise when it is just an outside reflection of someone's subjective view? And why should criticism cut so deep when it's not necessarily grounded in truth? When you realize that you can't control what others think of you, a weight is lifted, and you're free to focus on what truly matters: your integrity, your actions, and your personal growth. In modern life, we're bombarded by opinions constantly, through social media, workplace feedback, and even our personal relationships. It's natural to want approval and to fear disapproval, but the Stoic approach helps us see that both praise and criticism are temporary and ultimately irrelevant to our inner self. Think about the last time you received a compliment. How long did that positive feeling last, and when was the last time you were criticized? Did it linger longer than you would have liked? The Stoics teach us that neither praise nor criticism should shake us because they are beyond our control. As Seneca wisely said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This idea applies to praise too. Constantly craving validation from others only leaves you vulnerable to their judgments, making you dependent on external approval for your happiness. A great example of handling praise and criticism in modern life can be found in the world of public figures, particularly athletes or performers. When they succeed, they're often showered with praise, but when they fail, the criticism can be harsh and unrelenting. Yet, the most successful individuals are those who stay focused on their craft rather than the opinions of others. Take a professional athlete, for instance. After a game, they might be praised for their performance, but that praise doesn't mean much if it distracts them from preparing for the next challenge. Likewise, criticism from a poor performance can't be allowed to consume them if they want to improve. They understand that neither praise nor criticism should define them. Their value comes from the effort they put into their work, not the fleeting opinions of fans or critics. This is exactly what the Stoics taught. Focus on your efforts and values, not on the feedback you receive. One important aspect of mastering the Stoic balance between praise and criticism is learning to take feedback without letting it affect your self-worth. When you're praised, instead of letting it inflate your ego, use it as an opportunity for reflection. Did you truly earn that praise through hard work and dedication, or was it given lightly? The same goes for criticism. Rather than taking it personally, evaluate it objectively. Is there truth to it? Can you learn something from it? Or is it simply a reflection of someone else's misunderstanding or bias? Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it, that matters." This applies not just to life's challenges, but also to how you react to praise and criticism. You have the power to choose how you respond, and in doing so, you take control over your emotions and your sense of self. To practice this in your own life, start by asking yourself, how much weight do I give to others' opinions of me? Are you swayed by the praise you receive, allowing it to determine your confidence? do you let criticism make you feel inadequate? Recognize that both are fleeting and not a reflection of your true self. Instead, focus on how you live your life according to your values. A practical step you can take is to keep a journal where you reflect on your actions rather than the feedback you receive. Each day, ask yourself, did I live today in a way that aligns with my principles? By making this your measure of success, you begin to detach from the opinions of others and focus on your own personal growth. The Stoics believed that true peace comes from within, not from the praise or criticism of others, but from knowing that you are living authentically. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "People exist for one another. You can instruct them, or you can endure them." This reminds us that we can't change what others think or say, but we can decide how much value we place on their words. Whether you are praised or criticized, the only judgment that truly matters is your own. So, the next time you receive feedback, positive or negative, ask yourself, am I allowing this to affect my self-worth, or am I staying grounded in who I am and what I stand for? By embracing the Stoic approach to balance, you can navigate life's inevitable praise and criticism without being thrown off course. You'll find that your sense of self becomes stronger, your confidence becomes more stable, and your actions are driven by your values, not by the opinions of others. Remember, the Stoic path is one of inner strength and resilience, where you are the one in control of how you react to the world around you. So, take a deep breath, stay true to your principles, and let neither praise nor criticism sway you from your path. Lesson 9. The Procrastination Problem. Stoic Solutions for Taking Action. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Seneca. Procrastination is something that plagues all of us at some point. Whether it's putting off a difficult task, delaying a decision, or telling ourselves, "I'll start tomorrow." The habit of postponing action is one of the greatest barriers to personal growth and success. We often justify our procrastination by saying we're waiting for the right time, or that we're not ready yet. But the Stoics teach us a hard truth. There is no perfect moment to start. The right time is always now. Procrastination isn't just about laziness or lack of motivation. It's a deeper issue of prioritizing comfort over progress. And if we're honest with ourselves, how often do we let comfort dictate our actions, even when we know taking action will lead to the results we want? So, the question we should be asking is, how can we stop delaying and start acting today? The Stoic philosophy provides a powerful framework for overcoming procrastination. First, the Stoics teach us to understand the impermanence of time. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." The idea here is not to scare you, but to awaken you to the reality that time is fleeting, and none of us knows how much of it we have left. When you fully internalize this, it becomes much harder to justify putting things off. Every moment you spend delaying is a moment you could have used to make progress, to grow, or to move closer to your goals. By realizing the preciousness of time, we start to see procrastination for what it truly is, an obstacle that robs us of opportunities. So ask yourself, what are you delaying right now that, if you started today, could significantly improve your life? The next Stoic insight for battling procrastination is to focus on what is within your control. Procrastination often stems from the fear of failure or the unknown. We delay taking action because we're uncertain about the outcome or because the task seems overwhelming. Epictetus taught us, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In other words, while you can't control every aspect of the situation, you can control how you respond to it. Instead of waiting for everything to align perfectly, the Stoics encourage us to focus on what we can do right now. Even small actions can break the cycle of procrastination. When we focus on what's in our power, our thoughts, decisions, and actions, we free ourselves from the paralyzing fear that often comes with uncertainty. By taking one small step today, you can create momentum that propels you forward. What small action can you take right now to move in the direction of your goals? Another key Stoic principle is the idea of practicing self-discipline. Seneca emphasized that luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Too often, we think success comes from chance or waiting for the right opportunity to come along. But the Stoics knew that luck is simply the result of consistently showing up and putting in the work. When you discipline yourself to take action, even when you don't feel like it, you begin to see results. The Stoics believed that self-discipline is a muscle that gets stronger the more you use it. Start by committing to small, manageable goals each day and build from there. Procrastination loses its grip when we develop the habit of taking action, no matter how we feel in the moment. So, the next time you're tempted to delay, remember that taking action today is building the discipline you'll need for tomorrow's challenges. Procrastination also has a lot to do with how we perceive challenges. Often, we put things off because a task feels too big or too difficult. But the Stoics teach us that challenges are not barriers. They are opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that the very obstacles you face are part of the path to success. When you shift your mindset from seeing challenges as things to avoid to seeing them as opportunities to learn and grow, procrastination loses its power. Instead of fearing the task at hand, embrace it. See it as a chance to improve yourself. Each difficult task you face is an opportunity to become stronger, smarter, and more resilient. So, what challenge are you avoiding, and how can you turn it into a stepping stone rather than a roadblock? In our modern world, distractions are one of the biggest drivers of procrastination. From social media to constant notifications, it's easy to get caught up in things that feel urgent but aren't truly important. The Stoics would advise us to practice mindfulness and intentionality. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This means being clear about your priorities and staying focused on what really matters. When you're clear about your goals and values, it becomes easier to eliminate distractions and focus on the task at hand. Create a routine that minimizes distractions and maximizes productivity. Whether it's turning off your phone for a set period or scheduling blocks of time for focused work, intentional actions lead to results. By practicing mindfulness and purpose, you can stop procrastination in its tracks and start moving forward. Finally, the Stoics remind us that perfection is an illusion. One of the reasons we procrastinate is because we fear we won't do something perfectly. We tell ourselves that we're not ready, or that we need more time to prepare. But the Stoics knew that perfectionism is just another form of procrastination. Seneca said, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." This means that waiting for the perfect moment or perfect conditions is pointless. There will never be a perfect time to start. Instead, take action now and adjust along the way. Progress is more important than perfection. It's better to start imperfectly than to never start at all. So, what are you waiting for? The perfect moment doesn't exist, but the opportunity to take action is always available. The Stoics offer timeless wisdom for overcoming procrastination. By recognizing the value of time, focusing on what's in our control, practicing self-discipline, embracing challenges, eliminating distractions, and rejecting perfectionism, we can break free from the habit of delaying and start taking meaningful action today. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The power to take action is within your control. So, what are you going to do today to stop procrastinating and move closer to the life you want? The time to act is now. M2. Lesson 10. The Ripple Effect. How Stoic Actions Inspire Change. The Stoics believed deeply in the impact that one person's actions can have on the world. And this is something we often forget in our modern lives. We live in a society where we're constantly told that change is only possible through grand gestures, large-scale movements, or positions of power. But Stoicism teaches us the opposite. True change starts with the individual, with small, deliberate actions that align with your values. When you take control of your life, lead by example, and act in accordance with your principles, you set off a ripple effect that influences others more than you might realize. The question is, are you living in a way that inspires positive change in those around you? Or are you waiting for someone else to lead the way? The Stoic philosophy revolves around personal responsibility and integrity. As Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This means taking ownership of your own life and realizing that every action you take matters. When you make the conscious choice to live in alignment with Stoic virtues such as wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice, you don't just improve yourself, you become a model for others to follow. The ripple effect occurs when the people around you witness your consistency, your ability to handle challenges with grace, and your dedication to living a life of purpose. It's not about preaching or trying to change others directly. It's about showing through your actions what it means to live well. Think about a time when someone else's behavior inspired you. Was it because they told you what to do? Or because you saw the way they lived and wanted to emulate it? This ripple effect is especially important in today's world, where we are often tempted to rely on external validation or the approval of others to guide our actions. But the Stoics remind us that true leadership comes from within. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful emperors in history, wrote extensively in his Meditations about the importance of leading by example, not through force or authority, but through the quiet strength of character. Waste no more time on what others think of you. It is none of your concern. He knew that real influence doesn't come from trying to control others, but from controlling yourself. And when you master yourself, you inspire others to do the same. How often do we find ourselves worrying about what others think, rather than focusing on becoming the best version of ourselves? The ripple effect starts when you stop trying to manage others and start managing your own thoughts, actions, and choices. In modern life, it's easy to feel like your actions don't matter in the grand scheme of things. But the truth is, every action you take creates a ripple that extends beyond you. Think about how contagious positive behavior can be. When you hold yourself to high standards, whether in your work, your relationships, or even how you treat strangers, you set a tone for those around you. Consider the simple act of kindness in a stressful situation, helping a colleague who's overwhelmed or offering a patient ear to a friend in need. Those small actions create a ripple effect that can lead to greater compassion, understanding, and cooperation. And it works in reverse too. Negative actions can create negative ripples. Are your daily actions contributing positively to the lives of others, or are you unconsciously adding to the negativity? The Stoics teach us to be mindful of this ripple effect, to ensure that what we send out into the world aligns with our highest values. A great modern example of the ripple effect can be found in leadership, whether in business, family, or personal relationships. The most effective leaders are not those who simply command respect, but those who earn it through their actions. When you see a leader who is calm under pressure, fair in their decisions, and consistent in their principles, you are more likely to respect and follow them. This is the ripple effect in action. It's about showing, not telling. When you embody the Stoic virtues of self-discipline, courage, and justice, you inspire those around you to do the same. People notice integrity, and it motivates them to reflect on their own behavior. What kind of example are you setting for those around you? Are you living in a way that encourages others to be better? Or are you caught up in the same distractions and habits that you want to avoid? The ripple effect also extends to how we handle challenges. Life is full of difficulties, but the way we respond to them sets the tone for how others will respond. As Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." When you face adversity with resilience and patience, you not only grow as a person, but you also inspire others to face their challenges with the same mindset. It's not about being perfect or never failing. It's about showing that you can rise after a fall, that you can stay focused on what matters even when the world around you is chaotic. People are watching how you handle stress, disappointment, and setbacks, and your response can either create a positive ripple effect or contribute to a cycle of negativity. The Stoics remind us that the true test of character is not in how we act when things are going well, but in how we act when things are difficult. Are you facing your challenges in a way that inspires others to be strong? Or are you letting your circumstances dictate your actions? At its core, the ripple effect is about understanding that your actions have a broader impact than you might realize. You may think that what you do in your private life doesn't matter to anyone else, but the truth is, your behavior influences more people than you know. Whether it's how you treat a stranger, how you manage your responsibilities at work, or how you show up for your family, your actions send ripples through the lives of others. The Stoics encourage us to be mindful of this power, to recognize that we have the ability to inspire positive change simply by living according to our principles. As Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." Your life is your message, and the way you live it can either contribute to the good of the world or detract from it. What message are you sending through your actions today? The Stoic ripple effect reminds us that true change starts with the individual. By focusing on living a life of integrity, courage, and wisdom, you create ripples that inspire those around you to do the same. It's not about grand gestures or trying to control others. It's about mastering yourself and letting your actions speak for themselves. So the next time you wonder whether your choices matter, remember that every action creates a ripple. The question is, what kind of ripple are you sending out into the world? The time to start living intentionally, to inspire positive change through your actions, is now. Lead by example, stay true to your principles, and let the ripple effect of your actions create a legacy of goodness, strength, and wisdom. As we come to the end of today's video, remember that Stoicism is all about taking action. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, and Musonius Rufus all emphasize the importance of moving from thought to deed. The time to act is now. Don't wait for the perfect moment and don't get stuck in endless thinking. Take control of your life by taking action. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with someone who needs this message, and subscribe to Stoic in Your Life. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Let's continue this journey of growth and action together. Until next time, remember, take action now. 9 attitudes that make people lose respect for you. Wisdom for living. Stoicism. The respect of others is the gift we give ourselves. Anonymous. Have you ever felt a shift in the way people perceive you, and you can't quite put your finger on why? In today's video on Stoic in Your Life, we're diving deep into a topic that affects us all. The 9 attitudes that can cause people to lose respect for you, often without you even realizing it. From the subtle art of showing up on time to the crucial act of honoring your commitments, we'll unravel how these seemingly small habits can significantly impact your social standing and self-image. And stay tuned, because towards the end, I'll reveal a powerful Stoic insight that could transform how others see you, and more importantly, how you see yourself. But first, if you're gaining wisdom from these videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated with all our new content. Now, I want you to focus closely on the following story, as it holds the key to understanding the core lesson of today's video. Picture ancient Greece, a time of great thinkers and profound philosophies. Diogenes, a philosopher infamous for his unconventional lifestyle, living in a barrel and scorning societal norms, found himself face to face with Alexander the Great. When the mighty conqueror asked what he could do for him, Diogenes replied with a simple but profound request. "Yes, step aside a bit. You're blocking my sun. This story isn't just about defiance. It's about understanding your value and knowing how to command respect without even trying. Let's explore how you can embody this wisdom today. Attitude number 1. Excessive arrogance. The first attitude on our list of how to lose respect faster than a speeding bullet is excessive arrogance. We've all met someone who behaves as if the entire universe revolves around them. Arrogance is like an unwanted guest at a party who insists on being the center of attention, overshadowing everyone else. It's the person who always has to outdo your story with a more extravagant one, the one who walks into a room and expects everyone to bow in their presence. But why is arrogance so universally repulsive? Imagine you're at a gathering and someone bursts in loudly proclaiming, "The life of the party has arrived." Almost instinctively, everyone rolls their eyes as if on cue. Arrogance is precisely this kind of behavior, but woven into the fabric of everyday life. Yet it's crucial to differentiate between confidence and arrogance. Confidence is a magnet. It draws people in, much like a pleasant fragrance. Arrogance, on the other hand, is the equivalent of drowning yourself in that perfume, so overwhelming that it pushes people away. According to a study by the University of Akron and the University of Michigan, arrogance doesn't just wreak havoc on personal relationships, it can also sabotage professional success. Arrogant individuals often overestimate their capabilities while dismissing the contributions and skills of others. It's akin to assuming you can win a marathon without any preparation just because you once sprinted to catch a bus. This overconfidence often leads to poor judgment, missteps, and ultimately, failure. Picture an arrogant chef who refuses to taste his dishes before serving them, convinced of his infallibility. The result? Meals that taste more like an overcooked ego than a gourmet delight. Arrogance blinds you to your own shortcomings and prevents you from seeing the value in others, leading to decisions that are as tasteless as that chef's untasted dishes. But how can you tell if you're sliding down the slippery slope of arrogance? Here are some telltale signs. You believe you're always right, even when confronted with undeniable facts. You constantly interrupt others because, of course, your words are more valuable. You think rules apply to everyone but you because you're somehow exceptional. Or you consider basic courtesies like saying thank you or apologizing as signs of weakness. If any of these hit close to home, don't worry. Arrogance isn't a permanent stain. The antidote to arrogance is humility, a core tenet of Stoic philosophy. Humility is not about self-deprecation or thinking less of yourself. Rather, it is about recognizing your own strengths and weaknesses and understanding that everyone has something valuable to contribute. It's about being open to learning from others, even from that seemingly inexperienced coworker or the neighbor who never quite seems to have it all together. Marcus Aurelius, a revered Stoic philosopher, once said, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." This means holding yourself to high standards while being gracious and open-minded towards others. Practicing humility is like working out for your character. It may feel awkward at first, but it builds resilience and makes you more approachable and respected in the long run. So the next time you feel the urge to boast about your accomplishments or dismiss someone else's opinions, take a step back and reflect. True greatness does not need to be broadcasted. It speaks for itself through actions. As the great Stoic Epictetus once remarked, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." Embracing this mindset opens the door to continuous growth and deeper connections with others. In modern life, where self-promotion often seems to be the norm and social media amplifies every achievement to a distorted level, it's easy to fall into the trap of arrogance. Respect isn't earned by shouting the loudest or by standing on a pedestal built on self-aggrandizement. It is earned by showing genuine interest in others, by listening more than you speak, and by lifting others up rather than tearing them down. If you aspire to be someone others look up to, focus on letting your deeds speak louder than your words. Be the person who is always willing to listen, learn, and lend a helping hand. This is the foundation of lasting respect and the true path to success. both personally and professionally. As C.S. Lewis wisely noted, humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. In the end, humility not only garners respect, but also enriches our lives with deeper, more meaningful relationships. So choose humility over arrogance, and watch as your world transforms for the better. Attitude number 2, chronic negativity. Let's talk about the second attitude on our list that can make people lose respect for you faster than a storm clears a sunny sky: chronic negativity. We've all encountered someone who, no matter the situation, always sees the glass as half empty. It's the person who walks into a room and seems to drain the energy out of it with a constant stream of complaints and criticisms. Chronic negativity is like a dark cloud that follows a person everywhere they go, casting a shadow over everything and everyone around them. But why is this attitude so damaging? It's not just that it brings others down, it's that it reflects a mindset that can block personal growth and alienate those who might otherwise offer support and companionship. Think about the people you admire and respect. Are they the ones who are always finding fault? Or are they the ones who, despite challenges, maintain a hopeful outlook and a positive demeanor? Chronic negativity is not just a social buzzkill. It can actually alter the way your brain functions. Neuroscience tells us that the brain has a negativity bias, a tendency to focus more on negative experiences than positive ones, as a survival mechanism. But when we allow negativity to dominate our thoughts, it can become a habit, an automatic way of seeing the world that can be incredibly hard to break. This is where Stoicism comes in with a powerful remedy. The Stoics believe that we have control over our reactions, even if we don't have control over the events that happen to us. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Instead of letting negativity cloud our judgment, we can choose to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our actions, and our attitudes. Let's relate this to modern life. Picture this. You're at work, and a colleague continuously complains about every single task they're given, about the boss, about the temperature in the office, even about the coffee in the break room. At first, you might feel sympathy or even try to console them, but after a while, their negativity becomes exhausting. It starts to affect your mood, your performance, and your overall experience at work. You find yourself dreading conversations with them and eventually start to avoid them altogether. Now consider if this colleague, instead of complaining, focused on finding solutions, or at least accepting the things they couldn't change with a more positive or neutral attitude. How different would your perception of them be? Would you not respect them more for their resilience and their ability to focus on what they can control, rather than what they cannot? Negativity doesn't just affect the way others see you, it affects the way you see yourself. It limits your potential because it narrows your perspective to see only obstacles rather than opportunities. It's like walking through life with blinders on, unable to see the full spectrum of possibilities that are available to you. Chronic negativity is a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you constantly expect things to go wrong, you'll often miss out on the moments when things go right. This is why it's important to cultivate a mindset that is open to positive experiences, one that can see challenges as opportunities for growth, rather than as insurmountable problems. The Stoics teach us to reframe our thoughts and focus on what truly matters. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How often have you found yourself worrying about something that never came to pass or stressing over a problem that wasn't as bad as you thought it would be? So, how do we overcome this chronic negativity? Start by being mindful of your thoughts. When you catch yourself falling into a pattern of negative thinking, pause and ask yourself, is this thought helping me? Or is it holding me back? What can I learn from this situation? How can I turn this obstacle into an opportunity? By asking these questions, you begin to shift your mindset from one of negativity to one of growth and possibility. It's not about ignoring the difficulties in life or pretending everything is perfect. Rather, it's about acknowledging the challenges while choosing to focus on the constructive path forward. This shift in perspective can make a world of difference, not just in how others perceive you, but in how you perceive yourself. At the end of the day, people are drawn to those who lift them up, not those who pull them down. If you want to earn respect and build meaningful connections, focus on cultivating a positive outlook. Be the person who sees the good in others, who finds solutions instead of just pointing out problems, and who approaches life with a sense of curiosity and openness, rather than cynicism and negativity. In doing so, you'll not only transform your own life, but you'll inspire those around you to do the same. The lesson here is simple. Adopt a positive attitude, and watch how your relationships, your career, and your inner peace all begin to flourish. And remember, as Epictetus advised, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Choose to react with optimism, with hope, and with a spirit of resilience, and you will find that respect is something you no longer have to chase. It will come to you naturally. Attitude number 3, lack of empathy. Let's explore the third attitude that can make people lose respect for you faster than you might think. A lack of empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another, to put yourself in someone else's shoes, and truly feel what they are going through. It is one of the most fundamental human qualities that fosters trust, connection, and mutual respect. But when someone lacks empathy, it can create a disconnect that is difficult to bridge. Think about it. How do you feel when someone disregards your feelings or dismisses your experiences as unimportant? You likely feel unheard, misunderstood, and perhaps even insulted. This lack of empathy can quickly erode respect, not just from the person who feels slighted, but from others who witness this behavior as well. Why is empathy so critical, and what happens when it is missing? When you fail to show empathy, it sends a message that you are more concerned with your own needs and perspectives than with those of others. This self-centeredness can make others feel undervalued and disrespected, leading them to question your intentions and sincerity. The absence of empathy is like a barrier that prevents meaningful connections from forming. Without empathy, conversations become one-sided, relationships feel transactional, and trust becomes fragile. Imagine a scenario where a friend comes to you, seeking comfort after a tough day, and instead of listening, you brush them off or change the subject to talk about yourself. How would that friend feel? Would they trust you with their feelings again? Likely not. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change, for I seek the truth, by which no one was ever truly harmed." This quote emphasizes the importance of being open to understanding others' perspectives, an essential component of empathy. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to become so consumed by our own challenges and distractions that we forget to consider the feelings and needs of those around us. We might rush through conversations, not really listening, or fail to notice when someone is in distress because we are too focused on our own concerns. But empathy requires us to slow down, to really see and hear the people around us, to recognize their struggles, and to respond with kindness and compassion. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you felt someone wasn't listening to you? How did that make you feel? And conversely, how did you feel when someone showed genuine concern and took the time to understand your feelings? Those moments of empathy are what build strong, lasting bonds between people. They are what make us feel valued and respected. A lack of empathy doesn't just damage personal relationships. It can also have serious implications in professional settings. In the workplace, leaders who fail to empathize with their employees often face higher turnover rates, lower morale, and decreased productivity. Employees want to feel that their concerns are heard and their well-being is valued. A leader who lacks empathy may be perceived as indifferent or even cruel, which can create a toxic work environment. On the other hand, empathetic leaders who take the time to understand their team's challenges and provide support foster loyalty, creativity, and engagement. Consider this. If you were choosing a mentor or a leader to follow, would you prefer someone who is cold and indifferent, or someone who is compassionate and understanding? The answer seems obvious. Empathy makes us better leaders, better colleagues, and ultimately better human beings. But how do we cultivate empathy in a world that often seems to prioritize self-interest and competition? It starts with active listening. Truly listening to someone means not just hearing their words, but also understanding the emotions behind them. It means asking open-ended questions to encourage them to share more and being fully present in the moment without distractions. Instead of thinking about how you will respond or what you want to say next, focus on what the other person is saying and feeling. You might ask, "How did that experience make you feel?" Or, "What can I do to help?" These questions not only show that you care, but also open the door to deeper, more meaningful conversations. Another way to build empathy is to practice putting yourself in others' shoes. Think about how you would feel if you were in their situation. What challenges would you face? What kind of support would you need? By imagining yourself in their position, you can better understand their emotions and offer more genuine support. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, reminded us, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." This quote encourages us to recognize every interaction as a chance to practice empathy and kindness, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. In a broader sense, empathy helps us see beyond our own experiences and understand the diverse perspectives that make up our world. It enables us to connect with people from different backgrounds, cultures, and walks of life, fostering a sense of community and shared humanity. Without empathy, we are limited to our own narrow perspective, unable to appreciate the richness and complexity of human experience. This limitation can lead to misunderstandings, prejudice, and conflict. But when we approach others with empathy, we open ourselves up to learning and growth, to seeing the world through new eyes, and to building bridges rather than walls. So how can you practice empathy in your daily life? Start by being more aware of your interactions with others. Are you truly listening, or are you merely waiting for your turn to speak? Are you acknowledging others' feelings, or are you dismissing them as unimportant? Are you willing to step outside of your comfort zone to understand someone else's experience, or do you remain locked in your own perspective? Reflecting on these questions can help you become more empathetic and, in turn, more respected by those around you. The lesson here is clear. Empathy is not just a nice-to-have quality. It's essential for building trust, respect, and meaningful relationships. By developing your capacity for empathy, you can improve your interactions with others, create a more positive environment, and cultivate a deeper sense of connection and understanding. Remember, as the Stoics taught us, it's not enough to simply live for ourselves. We must also consider the impact of our actions on those around us. And in doing so, we not only gain the respect of others but also enrich our own lives with greater fulfillment and purpose. So, ask yourself today, how can I be more empathetic? How can I show up for others in a way that makes them feel truly seen and heard? In answering these questions, you take the first step towards becoming a person who not only commands respect, but also inspires it. Attitude number 4, inconsistency. Ever wonder why some people lose respect so quickly while others seem to naturally command it? One of the key attitudes that can erode respect faster than you might realize is inconsistency. Being inconsistent is like promising a steady light in a storm but flickering out just when people need you the most. Let's explore how this attitude can impact your relationships, career, and even your own self-respect, and learn how adopting a Stoic mindset can help you become someone others can truly rely on. Attitude number 4, on our list that makes people lose respect, is inconsistency. Inconsistency is when your words and actions don't align, when you say one thing but do another, or when your principles seem to change depending on the situation or the people around you. It's that friend who promises to be there for you, but when the time comes, they're nowhere to be found. Or that colleague who pledges to take on a task, only to drop the ball when it really counts. Being inconsistent sends a message that you are unreliable, that your commitments are flexible based on convenience, and that your word can't be trusted. When people can't predict your actions or trust your promises, they start to distance themselves. Why? Because inconsistency breeds uncertainty, and uncertainty is a breeding ground for doubt, mistrust, and ultimately, a loss of respect. Consider this. How often have you felt let down by someone who didn't follow through on their word? Did you feel like trusting them again? Probably not. To understand why inconsistency is so damaging, let's take a look at its impact in various aspects of life. In personal relationships, inconsistency can feel like emotional whiplash. One moment, you're present and supportive. The next, you're distant or unresponsive. This back and forth creates a sense of instability that can make others feel insecure and undervalued. It's like trying to build a bridge with missing planks. Eventually, it will collapse under pressure. In professional settings, inconsistency can be even more detrimental. Imagine a leader who frequently changes their mind, leaving their team confused and directionless. How can a team move forward when the goalposts keep shifting? How can they trust their leader's vision when it seems to change with the wind? Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and a Roman emperor, once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." This quote is a powerful reminder that our actions should align with our values, and that being true to our word is a cornerstone of earning respect. In modern life, consistency is more important than ever. In a world where everyone is trying to sell you something or convince you of something, being consistent in your values and actions stands out. It shows that you are grounded, reliable, and authentic. People are more likely to follow and respect those who are clear about their principles and stick to them, even when it's difficult or inconvenient. For instance, if you value honesty, but are caught lying to get out of a tough situation, people will see that you are not truly committed to your values. This kind of inconsistency can damage your credibility in ways that are hard to repair. As the famous saying goes, trust takes years to build, seconds to break, and forever to repair. But how can we cultivate consistency in a world full of distractions, temptations, and pressures that can easily sway us? The answer lies in self-awareness and commitment. Start by being clear about your values. What do you stand for? What are the principles that guide your decisions and actions? Once you have a clear understanding of your core values, commit to them. Make a conscious effort to ensure that your actions reflect these values, even when it's challenging. This requires mindfulness and a willingness to be honest with yourself. Are you acting in alignment with your principles, or are you letting external factors dictate your behavior? Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, teaches us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This means being intentional about your choices and ensuring that they reflect your true self, not just who you think others want you to be. Consistency also involves being dependable. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you make a promise, keep it. If you commit to a relationship, be present and engaged. It's about showing up in the same way, time after time, regardless of the circumstances. This doesn't mean being rigid or inflexible. Rather, it means being reliable and true to your word. In a world that is constantly changing, being a consistent force provides comfort and stability to those around you. It's a beacon of reliability in a sea of uncertainty. Think about it. Aren't you more likely to respect and trust someone who is steady and dependable over someone who is erratic and unpredictable? At the core of consistency is integrity. It's about being honest with yourself and others, about being the same person in private that you are in public. Integrity means not just talking the talk, but walking the walk, living in such a way that your actions mirror your words. When you live with integrity, you build trust, and trust is the foundation of respect. People are drawn to those who are authentic, who are the same in all settings, and who don't change their principles based on convenience or audience. As the Stoics would remind us, it's about aligning your outer actions with your inner values, creating harmony between who you are and what you do. So, what can you do to become more consistent in your life and thus gain the respect of those around you? Start by reflecting on your past actions and commitments. Are there areas where you have been inconsistent? How did those inconsistencies affect your relationships and reputation? Use these reflections as a guide for future behavior. Set clear goals for yourself, both in terms of personal development and in your relationships with others. And remember, consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means being aware of your actions, holding yourself accountable, and striving to be a reliable and steady presence in the lives of those around you. As you work on being more consistent, you will find that people start to trust you more, rely on you more, and ultimately, respect you more. If you want to build and maintain respect, whether in your personal life or professional career, you must strive to be consistent. This means aligning your actions with your words, committing to your values, and being a dependable force in the lives of others. Remember the words of Confucius: "The superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions." Let your actions speak louder than your words. Let your consistency shine through in all that you do, and you will find that respect is something you no longer have to chase. It will come to you naturally. Thank you for joining us in this video. Which of these 4 attitudes do you think is most challenging to overcome, and have you ever experienced any of these behaviors affecting your relationships or respect in your life? We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure how to comment, you could share an experience where you noticed one of these attitudes either in yourself or someone else, and how it impacted the situation. Let's continue the conversation in the comments below. Attitude number 5, lack of integrity. Let's dive into the 5th attitude on our list that can cause people to lose respect for you almost instantly: a lack of integrity. Integrity is the foundation upon which trust is built. It's about being honest, having strong moral principles, and consistently aligning your actions with your words. When you lack integrity, you become like a house built on shaky ground. At the first sign of trouble, everything crumbles. Think about it. How often have you encountered someone who says one thing but does another? Someone who promises to keep a secret but then shares it with others, or who claims to value honesty but is quick to lie when it suits them. When you see these actions, does it make you want to confide in or trust that person again? Probably not. That's because a lack of integrity creates a breach of trust that's difficult, if not impossible, to repair. Now, let's talk about what happens when integrity is missing in everyday life. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt betrayed by someone you thought you could trust? Perhaps a friend who promised to support you in a tough time but disappeared when you needed them most, or a coworker who took credit for your work after vowing they wouldn't. Such moments can leave you feeling hurt, frustrated, and, most importantly, disillusioned. It's like putting your faith in a bridge, only to have it collapse when you're halfway across. When people lack integrity, their words become empty promises, their commitments flimsy, and their presence unreliable. And once trust is broken, respect quickly follows. In the professional world, a lack of integrity can have even more severe consequences. Leaders who fail to uphold their values or who act unethically undermine their own authority and diminish their ability to lead effectively. For instance, consider a manager who publicly promotes fairness and transparency, but is found to be engaging in favoritism or unethical practices. The result? A team that feels demotivated, distrustful, and less willing to give their best effort. Employees look up to leaders not just for direction, but for moral guidance, and when they perceive a lack of integrity, they lose respect and, ultimately, their willingness to follow. As the philosopher Socrates famously said, "The greatest way to live with honor in this world is to be what we pretend to be." This quote underscores the importance of living authentically and with integrity, rather than merely putting on a facade. But how do we ensure we live with integrity in a world that often seems to reward cutting corners or taking the easy way out? It starts with being honest with yourself. Are your actions aligning with your words? Are you standing by your principles even when no one is watching? Remember, integrity is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent in your values and actions. When you make a mistake, and we all do, having integrity means owning up to it, apologizing, and making amends. It's about doing the right thing, even when it's hard or inconvenient. Reflect on your actions. When was the last time you chose the easy path over the right one? How did that decision impact your relationship with others, or how you view yourself? Did it build trust, or did it slowly chip away at the respect others might have had for you? Integrity also involves being transparent and open in your dealings with others. If you promise something, deliver it. If circumstances change and you can't fulfill your promise, communicate that honestly and proactively. People are often more understanding than we give them credit for. What they cannot stand, however, is deceit or half-truths. In every interaction, aim to be straightforward and clear. If you have an agenda, state it openly. If you make a mistake, admit it without trying to cover it up or shift the blame. This kind of honesty not only builds respect but also fosters an environment where others feel safe to be open and honest themselves. Think about a time in your life when someone showed remarkable integrity, even when it wasn't to their advantage. Maybe it was a boss who took responsibility for a mistake that wasn't entirely their fault, or a friend who stood by you when everyone else turned away. How did that make you feel? Respect, admiration, and a deeper sense of trust likely grew out of those moments. That's the power of integrity. It creates a solid foundation for all relationships, personal or professional. And it's not just about grand gestures. Sometimes it's the small, consistent actions that make the biggest difference. Saying what you mean, meaning what you say, and following through on your commitments. These are the hallmarks of a person who lives with integrity. Living with integrity also means being aware of the impact of your actions on others. Are you building people up, or are you tearing them down? Are you contributing positively to your community, workplace, or family, or are you only looking out for yourself? Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic philosopher, reminds us, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. This is a call to action to embody the values you preach, to be a living example of the principles you hold dear. People are always watching, especially in leadership roles, and the best way to lead is by example. So, how can you cultivate a life of integrity starting today? Begin by setting clear personal standards and holding yourself accountable to them. Reflect on your daily actions and decisions, asking yourself whether they align with your core values. When faced with difficult choices, take a moment to consider the long-term impact of your decisions, not just on yourself but on those around you. And most importantly, be consistent. Consistency in your actions builds trust over time, proving to others that you are reliable, dependable, and worthy of their respect. If you want to earn and keep the respect of those around you, living with integrity is not just an option, it's a necessity. It's about being truthful, transparent, and unwavering in your principles, no matter the circumstances. As the famous saying goes, character is what you do when no one is watching. Strive to be the person of character in all aspects of your life, and you will not only command respect, but also live a life that is fulfilling and true to your highest ideals. Ask yourself today, are my actions aligned with my values? Am I living with integrity in all that I do? By answering these questions honestly and taking steps to align your actions with your words, you set the foundation for a life of honor, respect, and true success. Attitude number 6, lack of responsibility. Let's talk about the 6th attitude that can lead people to lose respect for you more quickly than you might imagine: a lack of responsibility. Taking responsibility is about owning up to your actions, accepting the consequences of your decisions, and not shifting blame onto others when things go wrong. It's the difference between saying, "I made a mistake and I'll fix it," and pointing fingers at everyone else to escape accountability. When you lack responsibility, you become like a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly and blaming the wind for your direction. How often have you encountered someone who never seems to own up to their faults, who is always ready with an excuse or a scapegoat? This behavior not only frustrates those around them, but also erodes any respect or trust they might have had. Why does this happen? Because people value reliability and accountability. They want to know that when the chips are down, they can count on you to stand up, take charge, and make things right. A lack of responsibility is damaging in all areas of life. Think about your personal relationships for a moment. Have you ever had a friend or partner who, when faced with a problem, always blames external circumstances or other people? How did that make you feel? Did it inspire trust or confidence? Or did it leave you feeling let down and perhaps even resentful? When someone fails to take responsibility, it creates a sense of instability and unreliability in the relationship. You start to wonder if they'll ever own up to their mistakes, or if they will always find a way to dodge the bullet. Imagine a scenario where a friend borrows your car, damages it, and instead of admitting their fault, they claim it was the road's fault or the weather's. How would that make you feel? Would you trust them with your car again? Probably not. This lack of responsibility creates a gap between their words and their actions, leading to a loss of respect. Now let's apply this to the workplace. In a professional setting, a lack of responsibility can be even more detrimental. Imagine a team member who consistently fails to deliver on their promises and then blames others for their shortcomings. How would this impact team morale? Would you feel confident relying on this person for crucial tasks? A person who doesn't take responsibility not only drags down their own reputation, but also affects the team's dynamics and overall productivity. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, emphasized the importance of personal responsibility in his teachings. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This quote serves as a powerful reminder that action, not just words, defines character. Taking responsibility for your actions even when it's difficult is a crucial aspect of building respect and trust. In today's world, where information is easily accessible and accountability is more transparent than ever, being responsible is a crucial trait that can set you apart. Yet, we often see people ducking responsibility, using excuses to cover up their mistakes, or pointing fingers at others to deflect blame. This behavior not only diminishes your credibility, but also your ability to lead, influence, and build meaningful connections. Ask yourself, when was the last time you saw a leader who never took responsibility inspire genuine loyalty or admiration from their followers? Most likely, never. True leadership, both in personal and professional settings, requires the courage to stand by your decisions, own your mistakes, and learn from them. As the saying goes, with great power comes great responsibility. This isn't just about superheroes. It's about everyday choices and actions that define who we are. But how do you cultivate a sense of responsibility in your life? It starts with self-awareness and honesty. Take a moment to reflect on your recent actions and decisions. Have there been instances where you blamed others for something that was your fault? How did that impact your relationships or your work environment? Recognizing these moments is the first step towards change. The Stoics believed that self-examination is key to personal growth. Epictetus, another prominent Stoic philosopher, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This quote reminds us that while we may not control every event in our lives, we are entirely responsible for how we respond to them. Instead of deflecting blame, we should focus on how we can take constructive actions to remedy the situation. Another way to build a sense of responsibility is to actively seek feedback from those around you and genuinely consider their perspectives. Ask open-ended questions like, "How can I improve?" or "What could I have done differently in that situation?" These questions not only show a willingness to learn and grow, but also demonstrate humility and a commitment to accountability. People respect those who are open to feedback, who are willing to admit when they're wrong, and who make consistent efforts to improve. This approach can also transform your mindset from one of blame shifting to problem solving. Instead of asking, "Who caused this problem?" consider asking, how can I help fix this? This shift not only enhances your ability to take responsibility, but also positions you as a proactive, solution-oriented individual. In a broader sense, taking responsibility means recognizing the impact of your actions on others and understanding that your choices, big or small, contribute to the kind of world we all live in. Are you adding value, or are you detracting from it? Are you building up those around you, or are you dragging them down with your refusal to take ownership? Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, offers timeless advice when he said, "He who is brave is free." This freedom comes from the courage to face oneself honestly, to accept one's flaws, and to take steps towards betterment. When you take responsibility for your actions, you not only free yourself from the weight of excuses, but also empower those around you to do the same. Ultimately, the lesson here is clear. To earn and maintain respect, you must be willing to take responsibility for your actions. This means being accountable not just when things go right, but especially when things go wrong. It means being the kind of person who others can rely on, who doesn't shy away from difficult conversations or decisions, and who consistently strives to align their actions with their values. Ask yourself, are there areas in my life where I could be taking more responsibility? What steps can I take today to become more accountable and trustworthy? By answering these questions honestly and making a commitment to embrace responsibility, you take a significant step towards becoming a person who commands respect, inspires others, and lives a life of integrity and purpose. Attitude number 7, time-wasting frustration. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to waste time and energy on frustration, while others move forward with grace and purpose? Now, we're diving into attitude number 7 on our list of behaviors that make people lose respect for you. Time-wasting frustration. This is more than just feeling momentarily annoyed. It's about those who allow frustration to consume them, paralyze their actions, and ultimately hinder their progress. Understanding this attitude can be the key to turning wasted moments into opportunities for growth and success. Let's explore how this behavior impacts our lives and how a Stoic approach can help us manage our frustrations more effectively. Attitude number 7 that causes people to lose respect for you is time-wasting frustration. Frustration in itself isn't the issue. We all feel frustrated from time to time. It's a natural human emotion, a signal that something isn't going as planned or that we're facing an obstacle. However, the problem arises when we allow frustration to linger, to take root, and to become a constant companion. It's like sitting in a parked car with the engine running. You're burning fuel but not going anywhere. When you waste time in frustration, you're not just losing minutes or hours, you're losing opportunities. Opportunities to learn, to adapt, and to grow. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wisely advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote emphasizes that while we may not control every situation, we do have control over how we respond to it. Allowing frustration to dictate our actions is a choice, and it's a choice that often leads to stagnation and a loss of respect from others. Think about how this plays out in daily life. Have you ever seen someone become so caught up in their frustration over a minor inconvenience that they derail an entire meeting or ruin a pleasant dinner? How did that make you feel? Likely, it made you uncomfortable, maybe even a little annoyed. When people let frustration dominate their behavior, it creates a negative atmosphere that affects everyone around them. It's like a ripple effect. What starts as a small pebble of frustration can quickly turn into waves of negativity that spread far and wide. Now consider a different scenario. A colleague or friend who faces the same inconvenience, but instead of getting frustrated, they stay calm, assess the situation, and take constructive steps to address it. Which person would you respect more? The one who loses control and wastes time in frustration, or the one who keeps their cool and focuses on solutions? The answer is clear. The latter not only maintains their own peace of mind, but also earns the respect and admiration of those around them. In a professional setting, the impact of time-wasting frustration can be even more significant. Imagine a leader who becomes visibly frustrated every time a project hits a snag. This leader might start blaming their team, complaining about resources, or simply throwing up their hands in exasperation. How does this affect the team's morale? How does it influence the team's perception of their leader's ability to handle stress and guide them through challenges? A leader who succumbs to frustration sets a tone of defeat and despair, making it harder for the team to stay motivated and focused. On the other hand, a leader who remains composed, acknowledges the frustration, but doesn't let it derail the team's efforts, inspires confidence and resilience. This kind of leadership is grounded in the Stoic principle of focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. Seneca, another prominent Stoic philosopher, once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." In this context, it's not about having fewer frustrations, but about craving a different reality instead of working constructively within the one you have. So why do some people allow frustration to waste their time while others seem to navigate challenges with grace? It often comes down to mindset and emotional regulation. When you focus on the things that frustrate you, you amplify them in your mind, making them seem larger and more insurmountable than they really are. It's like looking at a small crack through a magnifying glass. It suddenly appears to be a chasm. But when you shift your focus to solutions, to what you can do rather than what you cannot, you begin to see possibilities instead of problems. You take control of your emotions instead of letting them control you. This shift in perspective is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. As Epictetus, a former slave-turned-Stoic teacher, taught, "Men are disturbed not by things but by the views which they take of them." By changing your view of frustration from a paralyzing force to a signal for action, you transform how you experience and respond to life's inevitable challenges. Now, how can we apply this wisdom in modern life to ensure we're not wasting time in frustration? Start by practicing mindfulness and self-awareness. When you feel frustration rising, pause and ask yourself, what am I truly frustrated about? Is this something within my control? If it is, what steps can I take to address it? If it isn't, how can I let it go? These questions shift your focus from frustration to action. Instead of being caught in a loop of annoyance and irritation, you break free and move forward. For instance, consider the everyday frustration of being stuck in traffic. You could sit there, fuming about the wasted time, or you could use that time to listen to an educational podcast, practice deep breathing, or even plan your day. By changing how you respond to the situation, you turn a frustrating experience into a productive one. Another way to manage frustration is to develop a problem-solving mindset. When faced with a challenge, instead of fixating on what's going wrong, focus on what could go right. Ask yourself open-ended questions like, what are my options here? Or, how can I turn this situation around? These questions not only help you find solutions, but also empower you to take charge of your circumstances. People who adopt this approach tend to be more resilient and adaptable, qualities that are highly respected in both personal and professional settings. They're the ones who are seen as reliable, as steady under pressure, and as capable of turning obstacles into opportunities. Ultimately, the lesson here is simple. If you want to maintain and earn respect, you must learn to manage your frustration constructively. Don't let it waste your time or energy. Instead, use it as a catalyst for positive change. By controlling your response to frustration, you not only improve your own experience but also set a positive example for others. Remember, as the Stoics would say, the true measure of a person is not how they act when things are going well, but how they respond when things are not. Ask yourself today, how do I handle frustration? Am I allowing it to waste my time, or am I using it to fuel my growth? By answering these questions honestly and making a conscious effort to manage frustration more effectively, you can transform a negative habit into a positive force for good in your life. If you've made it this far, you're truly on a path to self-improvement. Drop a comment saying, "I choose respect," to show you're committed to adopting these positive attitudes in your life. Stay tuned, because more wisdom for living is just around the corner. Attitude number 8. The inability to listen. Let's discuss the 8th attitude that can cause people to lose respect for you faster than you might think: the inability to listen. Listening is more than just hearing words. It's about understanding, connecting, and showing that you value what others have to say. When you fail to listen, you communicate to those around you that their thoughts and feelings don't matter, which can be incredibly disrespectful and alienating. Think about the last time you were in a conversation where the other person wasn't really listening to you. Maybe they were distracted, looking at their phone, or interrupting you to make their point. How did that make you feel? Probably frustrated, undervalued, or even invisible. When you don't listen, you close the door on communication, and without communication, there's no understanding, no empathy, and certainly no respect. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, emphasized, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." This quote reminds us of the importance of approaching every conversation with an open mind, ready to learn rather than to merely confirm our own biases. In today's fast-paced world, the inability to listen has become an all-too-common problem. We live in an age of constant distractions, where multitasking is celebrated and quiet focus is rare. Yet the ability to truly listen is more valuable than ever. Have you ever been at a dinner party where one person dominates the conversation, cutting others off, and always steering the talk back to themselves? How did the others react? They probably felt less inclined to share, less engaged, and more disconnected. This is the danger of not listening. It creates a barrier between you and others, making it harder for them to connect with you on a meaningful level. It can be particularly damaging in personal relationships, where trust and mutual respect are key. If you don't listen to your partner, friend, or family member over time, they may feel that their voice doesn't matter, leading to frustration, resentment, and a breakdown in the relationship. Consider this in a professional context. How does the inability to listen affect leadership and teamwork? Imagine a manager who never takes the time to hear their team's concerns or feedback. This manager might make decisions based on incomplete information, miss out on valuable insights, or alienate their team members, leading to low morale and high turnover. When leaders fail to listen, they lose the respect of their team, as people want to feel heard and understood, especially when it comes to their ideas and contributions. On the flip side, leaders who make it a point to listen, who seek to understand before being understood, are often seen as more approachable, more trustworthy, and more effective. As the famous American author and motivational speaker Stephen R. Covey said, "Most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply." This quote underscores a critical point. True listening requires putting aside our own agenda and focusing fully on the speaker. But why is it so hard for some of us to listen? Part of the challenge is that we often confuse listening with waiting for our turn to speak. We're so eager to share our thoughts, experiences, or opinions that we forget to fully engage with what the other person is saying. This is where practicing active listening comes in. Active listening involves paying full attention to the speaker, showing empathy, and responding thoughtfully. It's about making eye contact, nodding, asking follow-up questions, and paraphrasing what was said to ensure understanding. This kind of listening not only makes the speaker feel valued, but also enriches your own understanding. Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly listened to someone without any distractions or preconceived judgments? How did that experience feel compared to a more superficial, distracted conversation? Another reason people struggle with listening is fear. Fear of what they might hear, fear of disagreement, or fear of appearing less knowledgeable. But avoiding listening doesn't protect us from these fears. It only isolates us from the potential to learn, grow, and connect on a deeper level. The Stoics believed in the power of self-control and inner strength, and part of that is the courage to listen to others, even when it's uncomfortable. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This simple yet profound observation reminds us of the natural balance we should strive for in communication, listening more than we talk. In modern life, listening can transform the way we interact with others, both personally and professionally. It can help resolve conflicts by showing empathy and understanding, build stronger relationships by fostering trust and respect, and even open up opportunities by making others feel heard and appreciated. Imagine you're in a business negotiation. If you're focused only on getting your points across without considering the other party's perspective, you're likely to miss key information that could lead to a more favorable outcome for both sides. However, if you listen attentively, you not only show respect, but also gain valuable insights that can be used to find common ground. This approach is more likely to result in a successful negotiation and a long-term partnership. So, how can you become a better listener and earn the respect of those around you? Start by making a conscious effort to be present in every conversation. Put away distractions like your phone or laptop and focus fully on the speaker. Show that you are engaged by nodding, maintaining eye contact, and responding with thoughtful questions or comments. Practice empathy by trying to understand the speaker's feelings and perspectives, even if you don't agree with them. And most importantly, be patient. Resist the urge to interrupt or rush the conversation. Give others the time and space to express themselves fully. As you develop these habits, you'll find that people are more willing to open up to you, to share their thoughts and feelings, and to respect you more as a result. The lesson here is clear. If you want to build meaningful relationships both personally and professionally, you need to develop the ability to listen. This doesn't mean just hearing words, but truly understanding and valuing what others have to say. Remember, listening is a skill that can be learned and honed with practice. As you improve your listening skills, you'll not only gain deeper insights into others, but also foster a more positive and respectful environment around you. Ask yourself today, am I really listening? Or am I just waiting for my turn to speak? By being honest with yourself and committing to becoming a better listener, you open the door to more meaningful connections and greater respect from those around you. Attitude number 9, lack of authenticity. Let's delve into the last attitude that can cause people to lose respect for you almost instantly, a lack of authenticity. Authenticity is about being genuine, being true to who you are, and aligning your words with your actions. When you lack authenticity, people see right through it, sensing that there's a gap between who you present yourself to be and who you really are. This disconnection can create feelings of mistrust, skepticism, and even resentment. Think about it. Have you ever interacted with someone who seemed to be wearing a mask, saying what they thought you wanted to hear, rather than what they truly believed? How did that make you feel? Likely it made you question their sincerity, perhaps even their character. When people don't show their true selves, they lose the respect of those around them because authenticity is the bedrock of trust and meaningful relationships. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This powerful quote urges us to live our lives with integrity and truth, to be consistent in our actions and words, and to embody the principles we preach. In today's world, the importance of authenticity cannot be overstated. We live in an age where superficiality and facade can often dominate, especially in the era of social media, where it's easy to curate a perfect image that may not reflect reality. But people crave real connections. They want to know the real you, not the polished version you think they want to see. When you are not authentic, it sends a message that you are more concerned with appearance than substance, that you are playing a role rather than being your true self. This can be exhausting not just for those around you, but also for yourself, as maintaining a facade requires constant effort and vigilance. Moreover, when you are not authentic, it can lead to a lack of fulfillment in your own life because you are not living true to your values or your identity. Ask yourself, are you living in a way that is true to who you are, or are you constantly trying to fit into someone else's mold? The consequences of a lack of authenticity are far-reaching. In personal relationships, people might start to distance themselves from you if they feel you are not being genuine. They might question your motives, wonder about your real intentions, and ultimately, withdraw their trust and affection. This can leave you feeling isolated, misunderstood, and disconnected from those you care about. In a professional context, the stakes can be even higher. A lack of authenticity can severely damage your credibility and reputation. Imagine a leader who says they value transparency and honesty, but is caught manipulating facts or withholding crucial information. What happens to their credibility? How does the team feel about following a leader who doesn't practice what they preach? Authenticity is essential for building trust and fostering a culture of openness and collaboration. Without it, teams become disjointed, communication breaks down, and respect erodes. Why do so many people struggle with being authentic? Often it's rooted in fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, fear of judgment. But as Epictetus, another renowned Stoic philosopher, said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This means acknowledging your true self, embracing your strengths and weaknesses, and being willing to show the world who you really are. It takes courage to be authentic, especially in a world that often rewards conformity and superficial charm. But the rewards of being true to yourself are immense. When you are authentic, you attract genuine relationships, build deeper connections, and inspire others to do the same. People are drawn to those who are real, who are consistent, and who don't pretend to be something they're not. Authenticity breeds respect because it shows a commitment to living honestly and openly, without deception or pretense. Consider a story from modern life. Think of a public figure or celebrity who was caught in a scandal for not being who they claimed to be. Perhaps they were found to be dishonest about their background, qualifications, or personal life. Initially, they may have enjoyed fame, but once the truth came out, their reputation took a serious hit. Their fans felt betrayed, their endorsements were pulled, and they faced a backlash that could have been avoided if they had been truthful from the start. This example shows how a lack of authenticity can lead to a downfall, not just in the public eye, but in any sphere of life. People respect those who are consistent and true, even if it means admitting flaws or mistakes. They don't respect those who are found to be wearing a mask, pretending to be someone they're not. So, how can you cultivate authenticity in your life? Start by understanding and embracing who you are. Your values, your passions, your strengths, and yes, your weaknesses. Be honest with yourself about your motivations and actions. Are you doing something because it's truly what you want or because it's what you think others expect of you? Reflect on this and make a conscious effort to align your actions with your true self. Practice openness in your communication. Share your thoughts and feelings honestly, even if it makes you feel vulnerable. Remember, authenticity is not about being perfect, it's about being real. People respect those who are honest about their imperfections because it shows courage and humility. As Oscar Wilde once said, "Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken." This quote encourages us to embrace our uniqueness and to live authentically, rather than trying to conform to someone else's idea of who we should be. Furthermore, being authentic requires consistency. It means being the same person in all settings, not changing your persona based on who you are with or what you think they want to hear. Consistency builds trust because people know what to expect from you. If you're always putting on a different mask, people will eventually see through it and lose respect for you. Authenticity also involves admitting when you are wrong or when you don't know something. It's okay to not have all the answers, and it's okay to make mistakes. What matters is how you handle those moments. Do you admit to them and learn from them, or do you try to cover them up to protect your image? Authentic people own their mistakes and use them as opportunities for growth. The lesson here is simple but profound. To earn and maintain respect, you must be authentic. You must be willing to show your true self, to live according to your values, and to be consistent in your actions and words. Authenticity is not just about being true to others. It's about being true to yourself. It's about living a life that feels right to you, not one that simply looks right to others. So ask yourself today, are you living authentically? Are you being true to who you are, or are you hiding behind a mask? By being honest with yourself and committing to authenticity, you will not only gain the respect of those around you, but also lead a more fulfilling and meaningful life. As the Stoics taught us, the greatest victory is to conquer oneself, and that begins with living in alignment with who you truly are. As we wrap up today's discussion on the 9 attitudes that make people lose respect for you, it's important to remember that respect is earned through our actions, our words, and our attitudes. Each of these behaviors, whether it's arrogance, inconsistency, a lack of empathy, or not being authentic, can subtly undermine the way others see us, and more importantly, the way we see ourselves. But the good news is, by recognizing these attitudes and making conscious changes, we can build stronger, more respectful relationships both in our personal lives and in our professional endeavors. Living with integrity, responsibility, and authenticity is not just about gaining respect from others. It's about leading a life that aligns with our highest values and principles. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Stoic in Your Life. And make sure to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our upcoming videos, where we continue exploring how the timeless wisdom of Stoicism can guide us through modern life's challenges. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.